Welcome to the Gaelan Trombley Show. You can find me on Facebook at Gaelan Trombley, on Instagram at Gaelan Trombley, and on YouTube at Gaelan Trombley. Spelling GaelanTrombley. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Gaelan Trombley Show.
Booyah. Yep.
Episode 72, Gaelan Trombley Show. We have back Anna Hewitt. Anna is on for show number, I think, three?
I think so. Yeah,
first solo show or no?
This is my first solo show.
Really? So the last deal. Okay, so she's been on with Steph Damaris. I'm trying to get Steph back on. I was doing just a different, scheduling's a little hard with everybody, and I figure both of you are fun to talk to individually too, so I figured we'd give you your own podcast, and you can talk for all three of us, so we figured we'd just give you a little more time.
I love to talk.
And so what I found out today with the podcast is that I thought Anna had been here a lot more recent than she has, because you walked in and she goes, "Oh, I love the pillows on your couch." They've been on my couch for months and months and months. We moved in here June 1st of last year. You actually, I think, remember when we did the podcast, were we sitting over there or were we sitting here?
No, we started over here because remember we had a bottle of Prosecco?
Yeah.
And
we moved the table.
It was... Yeah, but I swear it was right there.
No, I think what happened was...
Maybe I'm crazy,
I
though.
think we moved the table over for the podcast the day we did the podcast.
Probably.
So I think this table was actually moved the day you guys came and did the podcast, because I used to have it up against that wall.
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of crap, boxes and stuff through here. And then, have you ever seen the couch?
Yes. I love that couch.
So you came in...
I've sat on that couch a couple times. So it's been there.
And you had your butt imprint.
Yep.
That we had to wipe away. So,
yeah.
But if...
It's velvet. It wasn't sweat.
No. It happens to anybody that sits on it. But so you came in here then without. Oh yeah, you came in here, but you didn't do a podcast.
Yes, I came in to go over marketing stuff, but we were in
we
were in the conference room.
That's right. So,
and then I came in again for something else, but it wasn't a podcast. It was like a meeting.
I don't.
And then I came in during the winter time back in December, and I met Aaron and you upstairs at Boyer Benner.
Okay.
So I've been all over, but not here,
okay.
in this.
Because then you said something about my shelves. I'm like, the shelves have been there, and then you went in and said you had Christmas bulbs, or ornaments. I'm like, yes. So she just proceeded to grab a bunch of stuff, which is fine.
I come here to go shopping.
Favorite person. You told me you have a shopaholic syndrome right now.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
So how bad is
quarantine
it?
Shopping.
What have you bought that you would like to share from quarantine?
Well, what have I not bought?
Brady? What has she not?
At Brady. Oh, my God. I have actually a really funny story about the shopping yesterday. So we redid our living room the first week of, COVID-19 being, wicked bad. So we were buying new furniture. When you actually came to our house, it wasn't even done yet. So we had stuff coming, and things had been delayed from the quarantine, the FedEx, UPS, everything was backed up. So it's been a gradual fix the living room. I got some new stuff for our dining room. I redid a whole bunch of the kitchen during COVID-19. I had a whole bunch of time on my hands. But then recently, TJ Maxx and Home Goods opened back up. And I own it. I need a share in the TJ Maxx Home Goods stock. And long story short, yesterday I went back to Home Goods for the fourth time in 2 weeks. And I again came home with $120 worth of stuff. And I was so terrified that Brady was going to rip my head off. I had my aunt back her SUV up onto the front porch because we have a security camera.
You snuck it in.
I tried to sneak it in the front porch, so I went running because his truck was gone. So we were perfect. I don't even have to sneak it. We'll just put it on the porch. I'll unpack everything later because it was dishes. So I needed time to scrape the stickers. So I was I'll wait for him to go to bed and then I'll come out and he won't even know. I run in the back door like a psycho and he stands up on the couch and he's like, "What are you doing?" Because the SUV is backing up on our lawn. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Where's his truck?
It's getting fixed and I didn't know.
Oh.
So I wanted to get work done, so he didn't have a car. So my face got bright red and then I snuck out the front door and I stopped my aunt. I was like, stop, he's here. So I sent some of it back with her.
So he doesn't know about this.
I confessed last night.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted the stuff.
So I just won't let him know that the podcast is out.
Yeah, no. I confessed last night, but he stared at me and you could tell he was, and I confessed in front of my parents and my grandparents, so he couldn't be are you kidding me?
Yeah, so he had
to play nice, and I knew he wanted to like punch me though, because I was like, just like 3 weeks ago, I was like, we have to save money for the wedding. Stop buying like the golf carts and all this stuff, all these like random.
You bought a golf cart?
No, he bought one of those like, what is the push cart?
Pole
Yeah.
cart, yeah, okay.
I was like, we all need to stop.
Golf cart. Like,
no,
that's nice.
I wish
Good
I'd like
purchase.
one of those. But I was like, we have to stop spending money. You need to get it together. Like, I was acting like a mom, and then I went to Home Goods, and life really happened. Bad things.
So I showed
Except
up.
he's okay because I'm not putting on a credit card. So like then he'd really kill me, because when I go to
No
TJ
interest
Maxx
on
and put
cash.
a credit card like payment, well, if I go to TJ Maxx and swipe the credit card, he's like, why are you putting it on the credit card? Like, stop charging it if you're gonna buy it. Like, stop being that person.
Are you a cash buyer? Like, when you buy stuff, you pay cash?
Usually I only
debit?
try to buy stuff if I know I have like, which it's not really a problem, but I just sometimes love being able to spend a little bit more on a credit card and be like, whoops.
So my wife's the one that like she'll pay in cash, like
Yeah,
a lot.
I never have cash.
I have no cash. I put 99% of whatever I buy on a card just because it's convenient.
That's usually me.
And I just pay at the end of the month. So
like we even do like our grocery shopping on credit cards and then just pay it back later because you get points and all that stuff.
I do anything. If I go to like into the store to grab a bottle of water,
gas,
I put on
we
a
get
card.
points for. We have the mobile credit card and we get off.
Oh yeah.
We get. It's actually kind of crazy how much money we save using the mobile credit card, and then like once a month we just do one big payment on it. But yeah, when I think I just take advantage of it sometimes.
So I saw you guys randomly one day, and I forgot what I dropped off. I dropped something off to you, and I forgot. But that was the first time I saw your house. But that was the first time I actually like talked to people. And
Yeah,
I remember.
Me too, actually.
Yeah, you said that, and I came here like for the quarantine. I probably stepped foot in my office, which is a place I spend a lot of time, obviously normally. 3 times during quarantine, maybe 4. And if you combined all the minutes, 15 minutes, meaning like I'd walk in,
Grab
spend
something.
like 3 to 4 minutes grabbing some stuff, and I walked out. I literally didn't print anything over quarantine. I didn't have to. So to come, that was one of the days I came here, did that. And then I forgot. What the heck did I drop off to you?
I'm trying to think. Oh, your reusable shopping bags.
Oh, that's it. I was going to say, I need to just drop something random off. So,
Because I got to add to my collection of your stuff too.
And, yeah, I know. And the reason I did it was because I had like, it was just nice to drive around. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
guess I'll just make a special trip I wasn't a special trip, but kind of like semi out of the way to drop them off. And then we ended up just kind of hanging out and talking. And then I think Brady went golfing or something, was making steaks.
He was making ribs. So his quarantine projects have been golfing. Aside from golfing, we tried smoking ribs a couple times.
How was that?
We grilled them. He's actually gotten really good at it. It's yummy.
Do you have a smoker?
My aunt and uncle do, and our backyards are connected.
Yeah.
So we were going to get a smoker for Christmas this past year, but we both at the last minute were like, we don't need a smoker right now. Like, how often are we actually going to use it? Now that we're like, because we had just started, like right before Christmas, we did our first batch of smoked ribs, but then we never really touched it again. But with COVID-19, we were making a lot of stuff at home because you can't go out to eat. We didn't even do a lot of takeout. I was scared of everything. I was like a chicken.
Yeah, because we won't name the restaurant, but you had a bad experience with a restaurant takeout, and which you just threw out. So we won't put them under the bus, but or throw them under the bus. But yeah,
they made it right, so I guess I can't be too psycho. But it was horrendous.
You had a free meal out of it, which is good.
Yeah.
They stepped up. A couple things. So there's a lot of stories. So we were just talking before this for many reasons, and Anna, I found out yours and Brady's backstory. Yep. Which I don't know if we have to go fully into it because I heard it, but you can. So I found out that was, you guys have known each other for a long time.
Yep.
And only dated for a small amount of, I say small, relative to the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And then now you're just overspending his money on home good stuff. So
like
it's a
now
full
I come
circle.
home and I'm like, Brady, can I have $40?
It's so much better when you were just friends. Yeah. So he signed up, but that's all right. So I wanted to ask you, you are back on the blog scene.
I am.
So give us a background on the infamous L-Bell, which we did
God.
talk about before, and I have it up on my shelf and it's staying up there proud. I'm a big L-Bell supporter.
Oh,
still.
God.
How many people have that mug?
I think everybody in my family does. A lot of my friends. And I had a shop when I was running L-Bell. And some people would buy the L Bell mugs just because they were reading the blog. I don't even know who they are. They were strangers that were just reading.
So how many people you think have it?
Looking back now, they weren't like the highest quality, so I don't know now, but
kinda
probably like
basic ceramic kind of.
probably like 400 people. I had
400?
Yeah, I had a lot of them come in. I was giving them away as like what you did. I was giving them to my friends, my family, my coworkers because I was working in an office job.
How many people bought them?
The mugs, probably, I think I sold about 50 of them. Because I had to get...
That's insane.
It was enough because I had to get a box at the post office. Because every time I was mailing stuff, I didn't want it to be my parent... I was still living at my parents' house. I didn't want my parents' address on the stuff.
So when you were doing that, you were how old were you again?
I was a freshman in college, so 18.
You're what, 23 now?
Yeah.
So this wasn't that long ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah. So
I mean, a lot has changed in 5 years because
you
look
are,
at that logo.
You are
it's not
young
a
lady
good
now,
looking
not,
thing.
Yeah, that looks like clip art from junior high, but that's fine.
Literally, and I paid someone to do that. That's the worst part.
Yeah, that's your worst. Were they someone you know?
It was someone that was recommended to me through
like local, or did this like national?
She was not local. She was through Rising Tide Society.
Yep.
And I had put out like a message like, hey, I'm looking for a graphic designer that's like lower budget.
Yep.
Living paycheck to paycheck here. Can't be doing this.
Can't flaunt it.
I invested into the graphic designer easily $1,500 because she built my website how I wanted it. Mm-hmm. She bought fonts for me. She bought all of the stuff that I needed because I didn't know how to do any of that. Mm-hmm. And then I bought like the books on how to do it all from there. And now I can do it pretty well. I wouldn't hire a graphic designer anymore, but
have you ever looked at Fiverr?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
FIVERR.com. Fiverr. If you ever need graphic designs, I'm telling you right now, you go on. It's all freelance people.
This would have made my life easier.
You would have saved $1,500. No, probably not because of the website, but you would have saved it from the graphic design standpoint.
Oh my god!
So what happens if you go on Fiverr, anywhere from $5 up to like $200, whatever, you can go on and say, I want to. I did this for my podcast. I went on, typed in.
I'm writing this down.
Podcast thumbnail. Do you want a piece of paper?
Yeah. Well, no, I'll put it in my notes.
Okay. Podcast. Like I went on and said I want a podcast thumbnail. Brought a bunch of people up that do podcast thumbnails. Then I kind of looked at some they had done.
Yeah.
Went on. There's different pricing. So one guy was like $5-10. I clicked on it. It was like pretty good. For like $5-10, he would do one and just send it to you, and you would charge you $10.
That's awesome.
For like $25, I could edit it. So basically, he would send it to you. Can you make a couple corrections? He would re-edit and then send it back. So I was like, I paid my logo $25. He sent you everything. So you get JPEG, PDF, PNG, all the different, whatever those are called, extensions. Yep. So now I can use it. So, and it's mine. So he sends it to me. So that's what I've used. So my logo was done by him. So if you need any kind of graphic design, logo design, anything like that, because you're basically hiring out. Yeah, like hiring out these graphic design kids that went to college that have like no job and they do it on the side, or have a job but do it on the side.
Yeah, and even like a hobby for them.
Yep. So if you need something basic, like if you're like, I want to, and you can get some more expensive. You can say like $100 person to come edit a photo.
Yeah.
There's actually some cool things online. If you go, one of the, I guess, vlog videographer guys I follow, his name's Peter McKinnon. He's pretty good if you Google him. He's kind of a crazy Canadian dude, drinks a lot of coffee, but he's a good dude. So I watched some of his videos, and he actually will go on and compare Fiverr $5 editors, $10 editors, 20. So he'll send the same photo to all of them up to like $250, and he'll compare how they are. So he's done a few of those. So like you kind of see
that's such a good like creation. I never would have thought that was a thing though.
FIVERR.com.
I'm going to look at it when I get home. I think I got my logo now, like the one I'm using currently and actively on Etsy. I think I paid $12 for it.
Yeah, so and these guys are like, these are legit graphic designers. They're not...
like fake little...
These people, like you can...
Making it on Microsoft Excel.
No, they're like most likely probably Adobe or Final Cut Pro. Or Final Cut Pro's, but a lot of probably Adobe users, Photoshop.
experienced people.
Yeah, so and they have all their work, they have reviews, they have all the stuff on there. Typically the turnaround time is like a day or two. It's not long. So if you're like, hey,
that's a huge game changer too, because when you have to wait, it's the worst.
Yeah,
because you really can't do anything without the logo.
You could go on tonight, message somebody, they could have a logo designed to you probably by the weekend, latest Monday, and honestly maybe tomorrow.
Oh my God, I might look at it when I get home tonight, because I might see one I
busy.
like.
This will keep you busy.
Because mine was just like a generic, I typed in I think I literally typed in like...
For Elbel or your new one?
My new one.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to spend like a whole bunch of time on it, because I didn't even know what was going to happen with this one. But
Did you design your own website?
Yes. I've done more designing myself this time. I picked like a basic template, obviously, but then I know how to like go in and change all the stuff on it, which I didn't before. So that was something I had to learn over the last few years. But I run the website where I work, and I spend a massive amount of time every day doing it anyways. And I didn't want to do like over the top crazy, because by the end of the day, when I'm doing my own blog now, I'm like, oh my God, I've been staring at a computer screen for 10 hours. But then you get like random ideas. And then within a month of my blog now is more so like a food gardening lifestyle blog. So it has a legit like genre, I guess it is. Elbel did not. Elbel was like a little bit of everything. And I think that was where...
What was your theme for Elbel?
So everything themed on the website was primarily like based off of like watercolor images, as you can see on that.
Very aesthetic.
It was branded as a watercolor website, and it was nasty.
But what was your topic? So
like just basic lifestyle. And I had a couple recipes back then, but I couldn't cook. So I did a lot of like, I would test recipes with my doodles, make them dog biscuits, all that, which I still do now. I had some like crafts on there, DIY crafts, but I was also doing like a themed event website, kind of like what Jordan's doing now, where I would post the wedding information for that summer, like what's good, what's bad, what I'd recommend, what I don't recommend, how to do like little parties themed out, and where you can get all the stuff for an inexpensive cost. So it was like a little bit of everything. But that's why it became too much, because I had people reaching out to me all the time to like give me their products for free to write a review. And then I had people that were sending me stuff that were like so off brand, that like one person sent me free shampoo, and the shampoo was like the worst smelling shampoo ever, and it ended up being a men's like...
It was like an all natural.
Yes, and I was like, I don't have a male in my life to give this to. I'm 18 living at my parents' house.
Sorry, Brady.
So I was like, I don't know how to review a piece of men's product.
What? How many people read this? You said you monetized it too.
Yeah, so I could see all the analytics on it. I think a lot of them were my family and friends, honestly, but I had anywhere from like 500 to 800 viewing a post at a time. And 800 was like a high number, but I had at least every month I was having almost I think it was 2,000 people. That was the highest number viewing the homepage. So as with every website, even business-wise, once they do the homepage, it only drops after there, because people rarely go like page to page to page, article to article to article. So it was a matter of like how far you could keep them in the website before they clicked off. But most of my traffic came from Pinterest. Even now, actually, my traffic is coming from Pinterest.
So is your blog now? So what's the name of your blog now?
It's just AnnaHewitt.co.
Okay, which I like, because
we
came
up with that.
Did you get AnnaHewitt.com?
I did, but I liked the way .co looked. Looked different.
Okay.
I don't know why.
But you own both of them?
Yes.
Good.
Was
that because I told you to do it?
Yes, I bought them that day. And then I had it. I hooked it up to Squarespace, I think like 3 weeks later, after you and me had talked about it. I went home that night after I left here and bought it. It was like $31 for the AnnaHewitt.com.
Yep.
And except I don't know if I ever paid
That's
again.
solid, because you have
a
fairly like semi-common name.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised there's not another Anna Hewitt who already took it.
So I ended up hooking the AnnaHewitt.co to Squarespace, and that's the one I went with because I just liked the way it looked on the logo. I went back and forth a few times. But yeah, that's kind of how it was here, just a generalized conversation, and you had said, like, you should just buy it so you have it in case you ever wanted to do something with it. And then when COVID hit, I actually launched it, I think the second week of COVID-19 being like lockdown, because we had so much time. And I was doing a whole bunch of recipe testing and a lot of downtime. Again, I was working from home, so like nothing changed for me, really. It was harder, I think, because we just had way more like rules and policies that I had to be able to post, COVID response, all that stuff. But aside from that, I just had way more time because I wasn't tired at the end of the day because I wasn't working alongside all these other people. So I launched it, and then it was about a month of slow. Like, it was a very gradual increase, but the last 6 weeks have actually been, like, absolutely insane. I had 1,700 openings on my blog as of this morning for the month of June. Yeah.
Was that
1,700.
Fairly high?
Yeah, that's very high for a 3-month blog.
How... Can you track who saw this and where they came from?
I can see every city down to a generalized location. I can see IP addresses.
Yep.
So it doesn't have your name, but like if you're sitting in Clifton Park,
that's what your computer is. And where
I know that your phone has clicked into and I can see if it's a mobile, like iPhone, desktop, a MacBook, like all that stuff. It gives me right down to what you're using. And I can see that, like, I had people in Clifton Park this morning. I had someone in Del Mar the other day that went into like every single article. I have people in Colorado reading it all the time. California is getting a lot of pings now.
Do you post this on your social media, like when posting?
I actually am not even like.
I didn't know about it until you told me that.
Yeah, so it's like organically being, because I don't want to be that person that's like selling you my blog posts, because if you don't cook, it doesn't really pertain to you. So like I share my recipes on Instagram, but I don't link the website. But I have so many people now sending me direct messages asking me like, what's this recipe? Or how do I do this? Like, I have randoms sending me messages that like I knew of in high school or college that are now reaching out to me to be like, what's a good recipe for like a chicken marinade, that sort of stuff.
So you probably didn't even, like, I was going to say, because if you had like a friend that moved down to college or something who lives in Del Mar, like it could have been them.
Yep.
But then obviously if you're not posting it, they might know, might not.
Yeah, which it's in my bio on Instagram. So if you're creeping on me, it says like in my website under my profile picture on Instagram, you can click right into it. I've shared a couple posts on Facebook though, because I teamed up with
LinkedIn. Have you done it on LinkedIn?
Yeah, no, I don't think I've done my LinkedIn.
I see you most to be honest, on LinkedIn. Yeah,
I'm on LinkedIn a lot, but mostly for like my job, my day job. I haven't promoted my own blog there, but on Facebook, actually my biggest blog post to date as of, again, this morning, was I posted a huge explanation on my page about, it was basically for the people who are not understanding what the Black Lives Matter movement is. And I had I pulled like images from social media that explain it in a better format for you to understand. Like you shouldn't be picking one or the other. And then that had an insane amount of, it was shared in 49 out of the 50 states as of last week.
Really?
Like reposted, posted on social media. Other people had clicked into it.
I looked at, I'm not like I wouldn't be a good blogger because I don't think I'm a good typer. I'm not a good speaker. I do this, which I don't care. Like, I mean, it's me, but I used to be a pretty good writer back in high school, but obviously it's a skill I just haven't done in 10 years.
Yep.
So the cool thing, I think, I haven't read through any of your articles because, again, just time. But what I did flip through it and look through it. The one thing that you do a really good job of is your pictures are very nice.
They're iPhone pictures.
So that's what I was wondering. Do you edit them too?
Yes. So I downloaded Visco Pro.
Okay.
And I try to do like the same generalized filters just to brighten them. I don't really edit. I sharpen them. I put a basic filter. I actually turn the filter down on a lot of them. The big thing for me at our house, though, is I take the pictures under a window. Like, I put it right under a window like this. The natural light on top of it lights it up way better than a filter will. But if you look back at my posts from March till now, even the pictures have, like, gotten better. Because I started to, like, test around with it, and I'd be like, okay, that looks horrendous.
One of the things I really like, because it looks very professional, is, like, when I think you made, like, a guacamole dip or a pesto dip or something.
Oh, my God, my guacamole picture is my favorite.
Guac or pesto?
I think it's my salsa.
Salsa?
Maybe. My pesto was pretty too.
There was something that looked really nice. It was in a bowl. It was like something you would dip in, and the photo was like very professional looking.
That one?
Yeah, like it just looks like something that you would see like on a professional blog like that. So like the thing that I always like,
that one's the salsa.
That looks cool too. But the first one that you showed was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, pesto.
That was last week actually.
Yeah, it must have been your most recent one because that's the one I looked last week.
Yep.
So. That's one of the cool things is that the level of professionalism that you have is pretty solid. Oh, wait. Don't tell me that's...
What?
No, we should be good. My heart skipped a beat for a sec.
That it wasn't recording the whole time?
No, it was recording. The problem is like my this glitches a couple times. Like I'll start like beeping.
Oh.
But The thing is, one time it didn't actually record. It was recording, but it didn't actually pick up.
Oh my God.
And what happened was everything's plugged in, but the battery had died and I had plugged it in separate. So I think unless somebody unplugged this, which I don't think so, that should be fine. I just don't like the recording thing blinks for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It freaks me out. Part of me wants to change and get like an actual mixing board that might be a little, I don't know, we'll figure it out. But it saes it's recording. Sorry, folks, sidetrack.
Little hiccup.
This is a very, very low budget production here. But no, it looks really cool. So that's what I was always wondering is just the what goes into making it look good. And there is a level of professionalism. I wish I was better at it, but I don't. The thing is, I do a lot of stuff, so it's like I try to dabble in certain things, and Jordan does a lot. Like if I was just focused on one thing, I think I could get really good at one thing. But you do a good job at like really, your pictures are good. Like I think the one thing which ties into what you're doing. I told someone this, actually I told Aaron this in our meeting today. I said you were very creative, but I said that.
Oh, thank you.
We were talking about marketing and something else, and I said like, and I don't know, I forgot this whole storyline, but you came up. So the one thing you do that I think is really cool is you have a very good home decor eye. You have a very good. I
love home decor.
Yes, you're like my local Joanna Gaines.
My God, someone else just told me that the other day, and I was like, yes.
I know that's like your favorite. So, but the one thing I'm like super impressed by, and I think you should start doing this for people because I contemplated. I haven't needed it yet, but I think if I think of an idea where I need it, I might hire you out to do this. Is your charcuterie? Is it charcuterie boards?
My charcuterie board.
Charcuterie?
Yes.
That's how bad I am.
Oh my God!
Do you
all
like
of my
doing
friends.
those?
I love charcuterie
they're
boards.
Awesome.
We have charcuterie boards at our house like once a week. That's Brady's favorite thing. I
love those.
Cheese, crackers, and meats. That's like the go-to snack, go-to appetizer. But they just look pretty. Like it's the easiest thing to do, and you can do like low-budget cheeses from Aldi's. Honestly, has a really good cheese selection. As crazy as that sounds, I love their cheese, and they switch it out all the time. Mm-hmm. You can just buy that, and I mean, I use the herbs from my own garden now, and we just always have crackers and cheese stocked up, and prosciutto, like salami.
It looks really pretty, and I'm sure people can find it on your Instagram or on your. You can probably put it on your blog too. I have a whole charcuterie board post, and it explains like I have like 7 different boards I've done. They're and really I like cool tell you exactly what I put on them, so that you can go buy like the stuff and then make it at home. The prettiest one I've seen is Fork and Knife Catering, which oh
my God, I think I've seen the same one on Instagram. Right?
They did our Christmas party last year, and food's phenomenal.
Yeah, so I've heard good things about them.
Alyssa and I apologize, Alyssa, if you ever. She probably doesn't listen to this, but if you do, I forgot your husband's name, but he's super good guy. So Alyssa and Taylor. I don't want to butcher his name.
I don't know their names.
Adam, last name's Senecal. Super nice people. Alyssa works at the chamber, so they do a very good job. If you want to hire them, folks, I 100% encourage you to do so. But they make this. For our Christmas party, they made this huge charcuterie.
That's what I call it. Charcuterie.
Is that the correct
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99%.
Charcuterie board. So they made a really nice one, look really pretty. That tasted phenomenal. Another one that tasted really good is Farmhouse Pantry.
I love Farmhouse Pantry.
Up in Saranac.
Oh my God, yes.
The owner of, I
don't know if she's the owner, but she's a great writer too. She's an English professor at Clinton.
Oh, okay. So like. You walk into like Farmhouse Pantry, it's like this old like house barn thing, and it looks like it's like farmer's market vibes meets restaurant. Yeah, and you kind of walk in and it's almost like, am I in the right place? Because it looks like you're walking into someone's house almost.
Yep.
The food's phenomenal. Me and Gina snuck away. We saw a movie and we wanted to go eat, so we tried something totally different. We went there and loved it.
It's good.
And we got that board, whatever they had.
Yes.
And it was amazing. They had all the jellies and the jams and the breads they had there were incredible.
I think they make them there too.
I think they do because you weren't getting out of like a bread store or just a store. So where did you find out that you like that? And would you ever like design those for people? Because I thought about having like little parties and just being like, hey, Anna, I need like a couple platters.
I've had a couple people ask me if I would do it for like I actually had one of my coworkers recently was like, would you just do that and bring it to the sales meeting? Because we sit there for hours, and which we never did it because COVID hit and it's a finger food. So that's the tricky part about it. But I've had multiple people ask me to make them a charcuterie board. But actually just recently I last week asked one of my best friends to be a bridesmaid in my wedding, and I said, I have a surprise for you. And her response was, oh my God, are you making me a charcuterie board? And I like stared at her and I was like, that's what you want from me? You want my charcuterie board?
So,
oh God.
Because that's one, like I was thinking if I have like little parties, especially around Christmas time, because that's kind of a thing, it'd be, could you come and like make one and I could just pick it up and be like all nice and pretty?
Yep.
And I could just like buy whatever you just like make it. Just tell me how much it is, and that'd be perfect.
And you can do them. They are a little bit more expensive just because like you're buying a bunch of meat.
The
and
cheese and meats get expensive.
And you want good cheese. Like I love Cabot cheese.
I love brie.
Oh, brie. I do.
Brie cheese.
Have you seen my brie board?
No.
With all the fruit, and it's a brie wheel, and I like cut it all nicely.
I like fruit, cheese, crackers, breads, jams, olives.
Yep.
And like pickles, like just
pickles
like
go good on it. Peanuts, any form of nuts. Honestly, they go really well on it. Mm-hmm. And then my mom gave me one of those advanced charcuterie boards with like the bowls to be able to separate like because you always want like a nice. I don't want to say mayo, but it's like a mayo or a mustard.
You do the jellies and stuff.
Yeah, and my favorite one so far has just been the whole seed mustard, which I got that idea from
Farmhouse
downtown.
Pantry had that.
Twisted Carrot. They have a really good board. Really good. I love it. Their bread's delicious. I don't know if they make it there. I actually love the Twisted Carrot. It's really, really good food. But they have a great board, and it's big, and it comes out, and Brady and I, one day we went to lunch, and we both just got a board. Each got one board because it's so big that the two of us were like...
If I go to a restaurant and they have one as like an appetizer, that's what I like.
Yeah.
Luckily, my wife likes it too, but that's like what we share.
Yep.
That or like an anapasta salad, depending if it's like Italian. We like those.
We make that a lot at home too.
So that's just something I wasn't sure if you had started to do as like a mini catering thing.
People have asked me about it, and that's something that I could easily do because the other thing you can do is I actually am in a charcuterie board Instagram page because I just like to look at them. They're like very appealing to the eye.
You had a whole book on charcuterie.
Yeah, I did. I bought a charcuterie board book, and there's like s'mores boards, dessert boards. Oh, I just hit my ear. Sorry. A whole bunch of random things, and the book is amazing. And I'm gonna make a s'mores board. That's my next one.
S'mores, like dessert s'mores, like
yes,
campfire
you make
s'mores?
a s'mores charcuterie board. Except it's not meats and cheeses, it's s'mores stuff. And it's stuff you can do like Reese's peanut butter cups, all different candies. And then it all comes out and it looks so pretty on the board. And I showed it to my mom. My mom was like, that looks amazing. I was like, I'm going to do it.
I might have you do that just to surprise my kid. We have a little fire pit at our house that we've never burned. We've never used.
They would love it.
And our kids just got into s'mores this year. So my son loves it. My daughter will eat anything, but she's 1. So she doesn't know what a s'more is. But Crew knows what s'mores are now. And then like around the fire, we haven't done one yet, but that would be great if I could like surprise and have like a little. So I'll
send you a picture of it when I get home because it looks. You just look at it and you're like, that is everything I need in my life.
I might get it to bring down to our camp. We do stuff like Sunday nights at our camp to put like dinners, and maybe I can get it and we'll do it there with the kids.
Yep, and I even have the big platters now. I have like long skinny platters. I use the long skinny ones for my brie boards. And then my charcuterie boards, though, I have like big round oval ones, almost like a turkey platter because it's so big that it fits everything. But the charcuterie page that I follow, if I were to ever do it for like a company party or something, if you buy the roll of people use parchment paper or just like the brown wrapping paper.
Oh yeah.
You lay it across a table, you clean the table first, obviously, and you just build the board on the table. And then you can go like a massive size charcuterie for like a party of like 200 people. But again, that's kind of scary to me just because with COVID and the hands and everything. But it just looks beautiful. You look at it and it's like there's so many different options.
Do you do like the goat cheese and like?
I do goat cheese. Aldi's has great goat cheese too.
I love goat cheese.
And it's inexpensive. You can actually
blue cheese, stuff like that.
Actually, my favorite cheese lately and Brady's too has been, I think you say it Boyson, Boisoin, I think, and it's like a soft cheese.
Yeah.
But there's one that's like a shallot and chives, I think, and one's like a garlic and shallot, and they are delicious. And they're only like 3 inches by 3 inches.
Different stuff with chives are good.
Oh my god, it's so good, and you like never want to stop. The last 3 boards I've made, they had it, and that was the one cheese that there was not a drop left.
What's the cheese you can get? Like it's a cheese. It kind of has like dill on it, and I think it's the way they prep it.
Is it the garlic? I think it's garlic and herbs. It looks like it's dill, but it's so delicious. Good. It's Cabot. It's a Cabot brand.
Is it?
We buy that one too all the time.
So, and like dill is one of those things. Like it's a weird flavor, but you put it on like fish or cheese and stuff, and it has like it's good. Like I don't know. It's like it's a pretty strong taste.
Yeah, it's you can taste the herbs in it.
Yeah, I don't
whatever
wanna
it
say,
is.
I don't want to say strong and like spicy or like horseradish,
Yeah.
but it's like it's noticeable.
It's,
like if you
yeah,
take a
it's
bite
there.
of it. Yeah. So I do like a good dill on the cheese, but I think you're right.
Yep.
And there's sometimes you can get like dipping. There was this place in Albany we went one time and had all these French fries. And it was phenomenal. And they have all these little mayo dips.
My mom loves sunshine sauce, and that's a mayo dip with her French fries.
Yeah, but that's like the yellow one that you have with sweet potato fries, or no?
She does regular fries in it. She'll put
But
anything
it
in
looks
that.
yellowish, right? And
Yes,
usually comes sweet
and I
potato.
think it has poppy seeds in it, if I'm remembering
It
correctly.
could. Someone make
I don't know.
different ones. Like, if we want to go into sweet potato fries and dip, there's like Latitude 44 makes a really good
Yeah,
one.
I've had their sweet potato fries.
But their dip, I think they put horseradish. Maybe I don't want to say that because it might be wrong. It has a little bit of a kick to it. Their dip, but
Yeah.
it's really good. And then, what's it called? Actually, side note, like North Country does a lot of really good French fries.
Yeah. Oh, and I am a
So I know which
potato
one.
queen.
I know what's your favorite French fry in Plattsburgh. I guarantee we're gonna be the same. Well, let's
Oh
just
my
talk
God.
because you mentioned a couple, but I have one on my mind.
I have a lot of them.
I think you're gonna say what's your all-time favorite. I think. Wait, 1, 2. I got.
Oh, I have a couple. I love the truffle fries from Iris's.
I got 2. I'm gonna see if you name them both.
If I just want a plain French fry, I do love Clarence Carl's French fries.
But I'm saying any French fries type dish in the Plattsburgh area, roughly.
Special fries.
This is Clarence Carl special fries.
I don't know if they call them special fries, but
You told me
yes.
about these. I haven't gotten them.
I would
yet.
get them every day for the rest of my life if I could.
Those are your favorite fries in all of Plattsburgh.
Yes, easily. I crave special fries.
That would be number 1, Clarence Carl special fries.
Like 150%.
The only thing-
Even I settle for McSweeney's too, but Clarence Carl's is way neater. Their presentation is better, and it's bigger. So the weight
They
of
do
my
give you a lot
heart-
of fries,
Yeah,
for
the
the big-
weight of
the
my
big
heart
one.
is a lot of potatoes.
What? So my top 2 would be the truffle fries from Iris's.
Yes, me too. I love them.
And then that'd be there, and then also the Greek fries from Aleka's.
Oh yes, I do love
That's
those.
the one I thought
we
you were
got
gonna
those
say.
the same day that
I know, I
when
thought
we
you
went
were
out
gonna
to
say-
lunch.
I thought you
Oh
were
my
gonna say
god,
that one.
I forgot about those. Actually, yeah, I love Iris's, but Greek fries are number 2 for me. And then third, do you eat at Our House Bistro?
They do have good French fries.
They
but
have the lemon rosemary Parmesan ones,
yes,
and they
those
are
good.
so good.
Yeah, those are good too. The thing with Our House Bistro, it's one of those that I've gone to lunch there a couple times and I can't do it because it's so heavy.
Yeah, and I can't eat their mac and cheese either. I have celiac.
Do
But
you?
yeah, that's from it's like fairly new, like 8 months ago. But
That's probably on the last podcast before the last or since
it
the
was
last podcast.
It was after the podcast.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because so you put that on your blog and I'm like, I don't think she has celiac. So then I thought,
Yeah, I had to quit
How do you-
gluten the same day I got diagnosed because I was like,
how do you get diagnosed with gluten? Because I know some people that can't have gluten.
I got
Like actually, I know people that don't eat it because it bothers their stomach, and I know
yeah,
people
I
that
didn't
are
have
legit.
any of those. I didn't have any symptoms.
Like
None.
my sister-in-law and their family have celiacs.
Yep. I have celiac disease, but I don't have the stereotypical symptoms of celiac. Like I have an autoimmune illness that has tipped me into other issues. That kind of they progress over time and you can't really stop them. They can just be like treated to make them moderate. So I had to do a procedure and they took a sample out of my stomach literally with an endoscopy. And that's when they go down your throat and they do it all that way. And then they sent it away for lab testing. But the day I got the procedure done, my GI doctor was like, well, I don't think you have celiac. You don't have any symptoms. Like, you're fine. I was severely anemic and I still am. I actually get iron infusions now.
So you obviously don't give blood.
I'm not allowed
was
because
gonna
my
say, it's too
autoimmune
low.
illness affects my blood.
Yep.
So they don't even I can't even offer to give blood, which I learned that when I was trying to give blood. They had me fill out my sheet and everything, and then she came in and she was like, you have an autoimmune illness. I can't take your blood for whatever you have.
Sometimes they test you for. I think
They filter it, so they catch it.
But don't they prick?
I think they might do a blood test too for celiac, but that's not what they did for me. But my celiac disease was so bad when they caught it. They were like, well, maybe that's why you're anemic, because it can cause you to just lose blood. Literally, your I don't know if it's your red blood cells. I wasn't good at that stuff in high school, but they were like, you need to quit today. So I got the call at 1:00 in my office, and I had to quit my gluten that day after I just had a bowl of pasta.
Oh, good.
So and pasta is like my favorite food. So I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna live. So that was also where my blog now took me, because I've been recipe testing everything with all my favorites, but making it
Did you do
gluten-free.
spaghetti squash?
I don't really like spaghetti squash.
Zoodles?
I hate zoodles.
Really? Oh.
I hate the texture of zoodles.
So you just gave up cold turkey. Do you have any kind of
No, they have really good gluten-free pasta choices.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So actually, I've found so many different brands now that it's like I don't even like struggle with it. A lot of restaurants can give you gluten-free pasta, but like the thing is a lot of people think that you have to have like legitimate GI issues to be diagnosed with celiac, but it's not the case. You don't have to have any of the gross like side effects, any of that, because I never had anything that even made them think, oh my god, you have
you
celiac.
Only know about this because they actually tested you and they said
they were looking for something else. They were literally like trying to figure out why my body was the way it was.
So is your celiac, what is this, is it called celiac disease?
Celiac disease, yep.
So is that like bad enough where if you were to have gluten like right now you would get sick?
Yeah, so once you quit gluten, it's for anybody. So a lot of people quit gluten for diets. Mm-hmm. And I know two people that tried to reintroduce gluten back to their diet and it made them like severely sick. Mm-hmm. Like, and then you have the symptoms of what a normal person is. But like, for me, he was like, you just need to try to stay away from cheating. Obviously, every so often you cheat because sometimes like one time at Christmas, someone in my family didn't know I had celiac. It had just happened a few weeks before. And the only thing that was there were like breadsticks and hearty, like wheat-based things. And that was so early and it didn't matter. But like now I literally have to pick and choose because if it's loaded with gluten, you're just better to skip it. Because if you try to reintroduce it, it makes you sick.
It's kind of like, I've gotten certain points, in probably the last 10 years where I don't drink milk. Not because, like, just kind of watching what I have and not having milk. And I don't like skim milk. Like, I like whole milk.
I love whole milk. I don't like milk a lot, but if I like milk, it's whole milk.
Yeah, so I drink only whole milk. So every once in a while I'll go on a kick where I just don't have milk or it's almond milk. Like, so
Brady's lactose intolerant.
Was he like that before? Or is that?
No, it's like in the last year. So at the same time I was getting diagnosed with celiac, he was getting diagnosed with being lactose intolerant. I don't know if you're diagnosed with it or like how it works.
I don't. Well, so if I don't drink, like if I went a year without drinking milk and I introduce milk back into my system, I don't get sick. If anything, I might get a little stuffy because you can get allergic to milk.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like that's why. Well, if you think about, I might have this wrong, but I think you can be allergic to milk, like sinuses and stuff. That
oh my god, I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's weird. So a lot of times when I drink milk, if I reintroduce it after like again 6 months to a year or something, and I put it back in, what happens is I get stuffy. So like my nose will kind of get kind of clogged and kind of feel like I'm kind of coming down with like a. Not that I get sick or really get run down. It's just I can feel my nose get a little stuffy. So you might blow your nose or just kind of breathing's a little heavier. And then it goes back and it's fine. So like, I don't know. I'm lucky. I haven't been allergic to anything. But like you said, if all of a sudden you're fine with gluten, because I know some people that were fine with gluten and then later on in life got it.
It like comes on sometimes randomly for some people.
Yeah, so it's crazy to think. I mean, hopefully not, because not that I have a lot of, I guess, gluten in my diet.
Yeah,
but
it is manageable though. Like
lactose intolerant would kill me. Would hurt me more than gluten.
Yep,
and I cut gluten.
I love like cakes and cupcakes and all that. So I remember the day that he told me, I cried. I was like, "What am I going to do without my cupcakes? Like this is hell."
They make gluten-free cupcakes, but it's like 3 times as much.
But even like my own baking and stuff, like I've learned how to like substitute xanthan gum with your flour that's gluten-free to make it like. I hate the word moist, but it's moist, like a regular cupcake. But
not dry.
Yeah, it's definitely like you have to do trial and error. And there are definitely differences with the gluten-free flour that I use, but I like 10 out of 10 recommend the King Arthur brand.
Yep.
Which they're like right out of, I think they're in Lebanon, New Hampshire actually. They might be in Vermont, I can't remember. But they're right down where my office is now, so I can literally just pull, it's like 15 minutes from my office. I can go shopping for their stuff, and if you needed like pre-made mixes, that sort of thing, they have biscuits, they have...
This is their actual store?
Yeah, and they have the best gluten-free options.
So this is a King Arthur store?
Yeah, and you can just go buy and you can buy the stuff in the grocery store too.
Yeah.
But you can just go like clean out the warehouse and literally get whatever you want. They have like the xanthan gum, which I like their xanthan gum more. And xanthan gum makes...
Yeah, what is that?
It helps... so like if you're making a loaf of bread... Mm-hmm. The difference in gluten-free flour and regular whole wheat flour is gluten-free flour is much more dry. So like if you're trying to make a pie crust, it doesn't stick as well. It breaks and crumbles. It's almost like it looks thicker, but it's just more crumbly. And the xanthan gum is a gum that like holds it together. It's like, to describe it, I guess,
kind
more
of like
easily.
an egg maybe?
Like, yeah, it's like the egg without putting the egg in, which you can use eggs because you're not allergic to eggs. But a lot of people who are vegan also do opt for gluten-free. They choose to do both.
Yes.
I've met a couple people actually now that I've been diagnosed with celiac that say they are vegan because celiac disease like educated them on all of the.
Yeah, food's a weird thing.
It's hard when you have something like that.
Like the only thing that I'd ever, I think the only thing I've ever cut out of my diet would be like sugar.
Yeah,
and it's just more of like eating healthy. It's not like.
Yep.
It's not like I purposely don't eat something. Like, I only don't eat milk if I'm trying to, like, really kind of watch what I eat.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to have, like... Again, I'm only going to drink whole milk. So, if I... Like, right now, like, if I'm trying to gain weight, then I'll drink a lot of whole milk.
Yep.
So, I use it for that reason. I eat a lot of rice and potatoes. I don't eat a lot of bread and pasta, typically. And really, I'm not a huge dessert guy. Because I can go...
We don't eat a lot of dessert, but I do love a good dessert.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I love ice cream. I ate ice cream almost every day of quarantine. At least the first probably 40 days of quarantine.
Really? Good for you.
And
you should.
Every day. And people are like, well, so what's that? Like 4 days a week? No, 7 days out of the week. We were always stocked. So like you made sure you went and got ice cream. So right now, also at Stewart's, I've told a few people this, and Stewart's makes a cold brew cookie dough right now, seasonal flavor.
Oh.
If you like coffee, it is legit.
That sounds good.
The cookie dough is espresso cookie dough, so it has a little bit of a kick to it. It's kind of like the brouhaha, but has a little bit of different kick. So if you are at Stewart's, go to that. I don't know, it's probably the summertime flavor kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
It's good. It's delicious.
Stewart's has good coffee though. They have
it's
a good coffee.
Stewart's is
if you're looking for something like quick and cheap.
So Stewart's was the place when I grew up. That's one of the first places I drank like mass quantities of coffee. Like I'd go and get it. I lived in Chazy. Closest thing you're going to get to coffee without going to like the diner. Now I drink Starbucks more than I should. I drink Dunkin' Donuts. I don't like it as much. I drink Dunkin' Donuts because it's easy and there's 1,000 drive-thrus in the area. There's
I'm the
one
same.
Starbucks drive-thru. If I'm in Plattsburgh, I will make a special trip to Starbucks. Unless I'm like down here, then I'll go to the one over like down by the base because it's there and it's like, especially right now, I get a lot of iced coffees. It's not as good though, so I'm a big Starbucks guy. Acceptance coffee, which you have now.
Yeah, I get to try
that. Was supposed to go to someone else, and I had a bag here pre-quarantine. It'll still be good. And I was going to give it to this person, and then quarantine, I couldn't see them, so it's been sitting on my desk. And then Anna comes in, she's like, I got to try Acceptance coffee, which is great coffee. They sell it at Rolf's Orchard. Get you some if you have not had it yet. And there you go. So that was
now I can try it.
That was like perfect. So get a grinder. It'll be good. The other question I had is, do you have any clue what that is? Because it looks like a stage.
It is the stage. I think it's the stage that the city bought.
For?
The Mayor's Cup and those things. They bought a stage for the Mayor's Cup in the Battle of Plattsburgh last year. But I read that they're trying to do something for July 4th down here now.
Oh, okay.
In your cars. That's what I read on Facebook. I don't know how real it is, but I bet that's why it's here. I think it's 4x8 squares of the staging units. And obviously it's on wheels, so you can like literally move it.
So they were
but
building
all that
it
stuff
yesterday.
comes down in parts, yeah.
Yes.
And that's the city stage. They bought that.
The city bought that. Okay, so where's that supposed to go normally? Is that down by where?
Where
Mayor's
the
Cup?
tidal basin used to go up.
Yep.
We don't do that tent anymore.
Okay.
They ditched it from the budget.
Okay. So they just bought
I'm not
one.
a stalker on this, guys. I literally used to do this. This is like random information.
Well, you guys were part of the, you did all the tents and stuff or stuff. So they were building this yesterday, and I was kind of hoping, like, I wonder what they're going to have down here. Because
I read July 4th they want to do something in your car, safe social distancing, and food trucks, if I'm remembering correctly.
So I don't know what they're... Okay, so...
I don't know what they're doing for performers or that sort of thing, just because I don't know how that works.
So just so no, you guys, we're in my office. My office on first floor of the station in Plattsburgh, but technically it's a second story. It's built on a hill, so it's first story. But my view outside my window is well above the ground, so we're really on the second story looking out. So we look out over basically the lovely sewage plant, which. Trust me, I know in time this will look much prettier. But then basically that whole parking lot area down by the marina. So we're looking out over the railroad tracks, and there's a big kind of weird looking parking lot thing here. And they have a stage. So I was kind of hoping they're going to put like a concert on and I could like watch it from here, which would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it's at nighttime though.
I mean, I could just like.
Oh yeah, you
roll
could come in
Like,
here, and then you're not in the pile of people.
Yeah, I'm like, I have like box seats. This is great. So it's kind of a weird thing because when they were doing the Prison Break show, all the trucks were down here that they were filming.
Really?
Yeah. So, had I known, like obviously, like all the Ben Stiller and all the people that were doing the film, they were probably down here, like in the makeup trucks and stuff, because they're all. I just couldn't. That was when I was down below, and that was a pretty wild day because they're. And I didn't know what it was at first. I'm like, what are all these trucks doing here? And then I found out someone's like, oh my God, they're filming because they had blocked off everything.
Yeah. Did you see any, like, go up close to see any of the filming?
No, I was working. But, I mean, like, I didn't go up to look. I drove out there and it was all blocked off. And the only time I saw Ben Stiller, he was rolling, like, and I'm 99% certain it was him because of the profile.
Yeah.
He was driving, like, this silver, like, I don't know if it was an Escalade. It was like one of those big SUVs, all tinted out, black tires. He was driving down past Iris's, like on your right was our house bistro, and he was turning left to come down to us, and I was turning right to go opposite.
Yep.
And we passed each other on that corner, and I mean, a betting man, I would have said it was him. Because you could see it. It was definitely him. He was just driving his own truck or vehicle, and he was coming down here.
He did have a black Escalade. I saw him. They filmed at Fox Hill, which is right at the end of my street. And they actually closed down Sherman Street in Plattsburgh, and I live right at the top.
Yeah.
So my family's on Sherman.
Yep.
And they had all the trailers for the makeup and everything up there. They parked one of the prop cars in my grandparents' driveway. And we had like a boozing party to watch the filming, and he came to the top of the hill at one point, but we kept getting in trouble with the camera crew because we were like partying on the porch and we were in the shots.
You're supposed to be
They sent a guy up to babysit us. I'm not kidding, at the house, and then he ended up having Cosmos with all of us, and he was like wasted at the end of the night. And I remember I was the driver, and I'm like watching it go down, and I'm like, this guy is not going to be able to go back to filming. Like, it won't work. And I don't know what they did with him, but it was so cool, though, because all of a sudden you're looking and watching everything, and then Ben Stiller came to the tippy top of Fox Hill because he was looking at the shot down.
What scene did they have there?
The scene where David Sweat shoots and kills the cop, and he drives over him with his car. So we got to see the stunt double and how the car worked to film.
That's where they did it?
Yeah, the bottom of Fox Hill. Rewatch it. Now you're going to know.
Really?
Yeah, they start at the top of South Platte right there?
Yep.
South Platte. They turn down the hill. They film all of that right down the hill. You see the car go down, and then
wow,
they warned everybody in our neighborhood you're going to hear gunshots all night because they had to film it in the dark. So it started at like 9:00 and it went until like 5 a.m.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And it would be 3 bangs, bang, 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 and then they do it again 20 minutes later, bang, 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 and we watched the whole thing until like 1:30 in the morning.
So I had a listing for sale at the time, like they were getting ready to film this, and it was a garage. And I said it was like a shop garage kind of thing, like mechanic kind of thing.
Yep.
So they called me and they're like, "Hey, are you the listing agent, McGaff?" And they're like, "I'm calling on behalf. There's a movie being like, oh, what are the 10 movies, whatever." It's like obviously you knew the movie, so can we go check it out to potentially use it in that scene? Literally the scene you just described.
Cool, yes.
So that was. But yeah, so I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I called the owner. I was like, I don't know if you want them to do this scene, but your garage might be in the scene. Because they had people just drive around the area like, okay, we need a garage kind of scene. And they go find something that could replicate that. So there was a couple other times, too, when we drove out. This was kind of creepy. We drove out the Saranac, so you're going down Route 3, kind of like before you get to Farmhouse Pantry, and before you get to the school on the right, there's this big kind of open field area, and we're driving, and all of a sudden we see it was a cop car, and I'm like, oh, someone's pulled over. And then we get down there, and it was like a blue tent. I'm like, oh my God, there's an accident. So I'm thinking they're pulling out the blue tent, like someone died, or like it was like the worst case scenario. So I'm like, I pull left to kind of go around them. There's a cop car, there's a blue tent, and there's people kind of sitting there looking out. I'm like, what are they looking at? And I turned over. There were like 5 or 6 guys out there, like dressed as like SWAT guys with guns. Yeah. And they were doing a scene, probably like going in, like kicking open the door because there was like an old barn there.
Yeah, how cool!
And it was so weird because you're going and you just like look and you have all these guys just standing, kind of like 5-10 feet apart.
Yeah. And
it was like, oh, they're filming the thing. So Ben was probably sitting there under the tent.
Yeah, he was very involved in.
There's a couple guys. I probably saw him a few times, but not like up close. So, but he's a small dude.
Yeah, and he was. Every person that I know that interacted, he rented their company, I don't know what it was, the production team rented tents and flooring for the productions for like the food tents and everything from Taylor Rental. And everything that I heard about him though was really, really nice. But we had neighbors that were so livid about the filming in our area. And I just remember being like, who cares? It's like we're seeing a time and like, yeah, it's a horrible circumstance. You know what I mean? And we're being portrayed as these people that couldn't even locate these people. But at the end of the day, I'm like, it's cool to like see it up close and be a part of it. And like, how can they be so mean to him? Some people are mean to him apparently. Yeah, I'm like, how can you do that to him when he's just like telling a story that happened?
I think the whole thing was.
It was cool. It was scary living through it. Obviously, I feel horrible for the people who had like to worry about their safety at night. But like looking back at it, I'm glad we were like at the age where I can remember this, and like when it's in the textbooks, I can tell my kids.
It's crazy because it was 5 years ago.
I know, just recently, wasn't it?
We just hit 5 years in June. Yeah. Or well, they cut. Well, no, my what is it? 25th might be tomorrow. It was right around this time. Yeah. And the reason I know is because we were down in Long Island when they actually caught the first guy.
Richard Matt.
I think when they shot the first guy, we were down at a wedding in Long Island.
Yep.
And I remember sitting, it was the weirdest thing. We went and sat and it was one of the coolest weddings I've ever been to. Between the wedding and the reception, we had like 4 or 5 hours to kill.
Yeah.
So we went and ate somewhere. I forgot where it was, like a sports bar or whatever. So we're sitting there and we like look up at the TV and like CNN's on. Breaking news, this guy's caught. And we're like,
oh my God.
We're literally down Long Island and he's caught like right. So it was kind of funny watching it, which we were kind of annoyed because we've been watching every night. You like turned on the TV. It was the only time I remember that you could turn on the TV and be updated because we weren't really updated, but we kind of were. So we watched Channel 5 like
CNN nonstop. Was on it. The NBC people were on it all the time. I tweeted pictures. My uncle lives like right down the hill. He has a farm down in Dannemora. Yeah. You can walk to Maggie's Marketplace in like 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. I took pictures of the day they broke out because we went to Dannemora because my dad and I are like crime chasers on the side. No big deal. Not really.
The day they broke out, you did?
Yeah, we went right to Dannemora to see, and they had the people in like the black,
he's chased guys down,
head to toe black suits, and yeah, he has. And we were like right in it, and I took pictures of it all. And NBC tweeted to me one day, and they were like, "Can we use your picture on the nightly news?" Really? And they put my Twitter handle. I didn't get famous, obviously, because I'm still here. But
this was the L Bell days too.
Yes, it was. I never wrote anything about it though.
5 years.
But it was cool. And then for days, anywhere you went in that vicinity though. Actually, Adirondack Helping Hands, where Brady worked, that was the landing pad and the security set up for the manhunt. So they'd land the helicopters at the school there.
Wait, really?
Yeah, in Katie'ville, they used that school as like one of the checkpoints for all the cops and everything. Yep. They canceled school there a couple times because they figured they were in that vicinity and it was a safety hazard. So it affected a lot of people.
I found out about it. I was actually at a showing at like 8 a.m. up in Morris. And it was a Saturday they broke out, Friday night or something, and Saturday morning.
Yeah, like Friday into Saturday or Saturday into Sunday, something weird.
Yeah, so I had a Saturday morning showing at like 8 a.m. It was a vacant home. Met my guy up there. And the funny thing was we went up, looked at it, whatever. So I got in the car. I still remember it was on would have been Route 11. So I go down to the intersection of Route 11 to turn on the 22 to head back to Plattsburgh. And they had a traffic stop. And there was cops there, and I was like kind of backed up, not much, but like it was more, so like 4 cars. So I kind of like roll up, and he goes, "Hey, can you pop your trunk?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "An inmate escaped." And I remember him telling me this like 8 in the morning, and I was oblivious. I literally didn't hear anything. This was a couple hours before. Went to the showing, morning, wasn't checking the news, whatever. So they popped the trunk. Okay, you're all good. I'm like, "Oh, that's good, whatever." And they had a cop on each thing. I'm like, "Oh, well, I wonder." And when he said it, like, an inmate escaped from Dannemora, I didn't really think it was a big deal. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Because you kind of write it off.
When I was a kid, like one guy maybe escaped from, I think, like the county jail or somewhere.
It was that. No, I remember.
I was a kid. I was very young.
Another one escaped though when I was in like elementary school, and he was a former Russian spy, and he was like a crazy guy that could like beat the crap out of anybody. Do you remember that one? His name was like Vladimir something. Oh God! And he was bald. And it was like everybody in the radius, lock your doors, stay home.
Maybe that was it. I was a kid. I mean, if you were like elementary, I was a little bit older than you, but maybe that was it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was young. I was definitely like probably under 10 or 12. So I remember seeing it, and I remember driving home, and like I think I called Gina at the time, and we had like just started dating a few months before that. I was like, "Hey, did you hear there was like I don't know, I just got stopped. There was, I guess, a prisoner that got out. And I didn't know that nobody had ever broken out of the prison.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was a jail. I didn't think it was Clinton. And she goes, yeah, it's all over the news. I'm like, wait, really? And I was thinking, like, she's like, and I don't know if it had hit national news yet, but it was like breaking news.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? And then I got home, and of course, it was all over the news. And then, like, by that night, it was like all over the national news.
Yeah.
I was like,
and
oh.
Governor Cuomo was like flying in to like see the hole and everything.
Yeah, and I was like,
wait,
the
what?
heck? Because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But then I found out, like, nobody's ever broken out. And because I was thinking in my head, like, yeah, some guy broke out when I was a kid. But I
Yeah.
think it was from, like, the county jail or something. Like, and it might not even have been around here. It could have been someone downstate, and they're checking all the places that he could have been. So
That's like, it's still so crazy. It was definitely, and who would have thought that it'd be weeks of a chase though? I think that's like
yeah.
the craziest part
It was
about
like-
it is they call us like this hole in the wall place and everything, such a tiny town. But okay, well, if two inmates who are not very like trained in the Adirondack Park can go and live off of the land for what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? They
I
did
think
a
it was like
pretty
three,
good
it was
job.
like 20 days or something.
Except I think they were sick when they were caught, but they still like hid for a very solid chunk, very big solid chunk of
The
time.
weird thing about that whole thing, when I remember thinking, like, I want them caught, but it's kind of like a reality TV show where it's
Yes.
like, you kind of like,
Yep.
I don't want them to hurt anybody, but like, it's kind of weird that they're still like out there, because I really thought they were like way the hell out. They weren't even close to
Yeah.
us. And then all of a sudden they kind of kept like pinpointing through stuff, and like one guy like shot at some stuff. Like, okay, well, that's probably the dude. Like, so they kind of gave themselves
Yeah.
away. But I really thought when they broke out, I was like, they're long gone, because it was like 6-7
it was
hours later. I'm like,
hours,
they're
yeah.
like out of the state or out of the country.
Yep.
I
And
mean, they
the
probably didn't get out of
whole-
the country, but I could see
Yep.
getting out of the state.
I mean, I assumed Canada, honestly. And then like 5 days in, though, I remember someone where I was working at Taylor Rental, and one of the guys there was like, oh, they're in Mexico, 100%. They've made it to Mexico. And I was like, how do you know they're going to Mexico when we live on the Canadian border?
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. They could have went to like Boston,
Yeah.
hopped on a boat,
Yep.
and like, I mean, there's so many things you could have like done that.
The straightaway right to New York City. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, really, you would have been down
And
there.
then once you're in New York City, you can connect to like anywhere.
Well, if you go down there and someone's connecting, you take a shower, clean up a little bit. They
Yeah.
don't know who you are, and then kind of like, you know, I mean, there's ways that you probably, who knows, if you're in prison, you're breaking out, you got connections probably
Did
on the outside.
you watch the end of the Ben Stiller show, though?
Yes, I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so you know the scene where he's like running in the last, it's David Sweat, and he's running to try to get to the border because he knew he was right there, and
Yeah.
he got the guy who shot him got
Yeah.
out of the car. This is how I know I'm a lunatic, because when I was watching the show, though, you really do forget like you're watching something that was like right there. Brady at one point was like, Anna, you sound crazy, because I was like literally like standing at my TV like, oh my God, he's right there, like go. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm like watching a nonfiction show and I'm cheering for the prisoner. And then I realized I was like, I'm not cheering for him. That was an accident, because the way they like played it off, like the adrenaline rush and he starts sprinting, you're automatically like into it. Like, oh my God, he's almost there.
I mean, have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never
that's
made it through the whole movie.
Phenomenal movie, but it's the
Yeah.
same. Have you seen like
Wasn't it like almost like the same storyline?
Yeah, same premise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the end of Shawshank?
No,
Like,
I didn't.
Oh,
I
so
didn't
watch the
finish
movie. It's
it.
great. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but that's a really good movie.
I should watch that though, because that's like
Yeah.
right up my alley.
Like, if you have like, know what you do tonight? Go home, research Fiverr, and then watch Shawshank Redemption. You will like.
I think it's on Hulu actually.
You probably can. If not, like
Yeah.
rent it on Prime for like $3, $4.
Yep.
So it's worth watching. It's a great movie. It's built like late '90s. Fun fact about that one too. So Morgan Freeman's in it, and I
Yeah.
think Tim Robbins is the actor. Tim Robbins, if you go to his Wikipedia page, I don't know how true this is, supposedly went to Plattsburgh State for a time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Fun fact. And again, that could have been someone just like, I don't think anybody would
Did
like.
you search that?
I think I searched Tim. I think I was. This is me when I watch movies. I watch movies and I have a hard time paying attention.
Yep.
So I watch movies and I'll pick my phone up and I'll go through Wikipedia because I'll be like, who's that actor? Next thing you know, I'm
Oh,
on
I
like
do the
this
name
long
searching,
Google,
yeah.
like IMBD.
Yes, and you're reading like, oh, they were in this show 15 years ago.
Connecting the
Yeah.
dots, and then I'll be
married
like-
to so and so.
But then I'll be like, this movie's pretty cool. And then I'll be like, production. Like, they shot the film in this area. They took this long. They had this. This actor was supposed to play that actor. And I was like we watched, it was a Titanic or something. And like, Brad Pitt was almost Leonardo DiCaprio's part. And a couple other guys, like maybe Rob Lowe. There was a few actors that almost played Leonardo DiCaprio. And Kate Winslet wasn't like wasn't going to be.
Wasn't she like the last pick
Reese
at
Witherspoon was almost Kate Winslet in the Titanic.
Yeah,
and now you look
I did
like,
know that.
And now
you can't picture them not being
anybody
Jack
different.
and Rose. Yeah.
So sorry, that was a totally diversion. But like, so I watched the whatever. So I don't know why I was watching. Maybe I was watching Shawshank Redemption. It was like Tim Robbins. Clicked on Tim Robbins, went down through his profile, like where did this guy come from, and then it said went to Plattsburgh State. And you're like, wait, what?
Like I'm in Plattsburgh.
So I think he actually is like his early childhood. Like, oh, then he attended SUNY Plattsburgh for like 2 years.
Crazy. There's actually a lot of connections to Plattsburgh with a lot of celebrities, athletes. A lot of them have been.
There's some
area.
weird ones.
Even presidents. Presidents are connected to the North.
Oh
Country.
yeah, a lot of them. Some of them probably came to this actually. Actually, like I would bet money that like Teddy Roosevelt, William McKinley, they've all been here. Taft, they all came up here.
William McKinley used to stay at Clinton when it was a hotel.
Yep.
It wasn't here. I was just going to say, didn't Theodore Roosevelt give a speech here? But it wasn't. It was at the barracks, I think.
Theodore Roosevelt found out he was president of the United States in the Adirondack Mountains. He used to come up here hunting.
Yeah, I like nerd out.
But I think he became president because McKinley or Taft, one of the two, was assassinated, and then he became president.
McKinley, I think McKinley was assassinated, but I thought he lived. I need to catch up on my
I think what happened.
history.
I think he was the vice president at the time. The guy so became the president. And then he ran again and got elected. Yep. But he used to hunt a lot, and I think, like, obviously this is the train. I mean, this is the original. I think the original train track. I should do my history lesson on that. But they would have come up.
Don't you have like the historic landmark sticker here?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. This whole thing.
This building is an original building, I think.
Yeah, 1886.
Yeah.
And
actually, you know who told me that? Aaron
Benner. That's what he calls this 1886. It's actually out on the sign out front.
We talked about it when I had the meeting with you guys.
So he's got to get better. We've talked about promoting it more, but right across the way there used to be a hotel. So people would come here.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right in the corner. They took down a story. It's still there, the apartments. That used to be a hotel, and they had it was higher. So they would have came here, and then like I know that some of them played golf at Bluff Point, and so like, but you got to think when they were presidents, how big was the United States? It was like a third of what it is now.
Yeah,
because it stopped. Mississippi River, Missouri. Like Missouri was a big acquisition, and then you had the Louisiana Purchase, which was like everything.
Yep.
So really, it was like this small geographical area. So to come up to New York was not that big. I mean, it was you were traveling, but you got to think in the grand scheme of things. There was no California, there was no Colorado, there was no like Nebraska.
I know
Texas wasn't around.
It's strange to think that was. I mean, obviously everything has to start with something, but it's still crazy because it wasn't.
We're so old. Like we're the 11th. We're the 11th state in the union.
But the other thing that always used to, when I was a kid learning about all of it, I and my brain, like all of that didn't, like several hundred years ago, yes, but all of that doesn't seem like it was, I would have thought it would have been longer. You know what I mean? It wasn't, it's not an insane amount of time for me to think about that's like we've come and gone from that so quickly, it feels like.
Well, it's to the point where you could probably trace your family tree back long enough. Like
I just sent my ancestry in.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah, that's what you told me. You were like, they do it in like 4 weeks. So I did it that day and I sent it in. I'm still waiting though.
Oh, you haven't got the results back?
No, but they got it and it's processing.
So
you can go back in Ancestry though, like back to like Alexander the Great times.
So to actually get the Ancestry subscription, it's pretty pricey.
Yeah, it is.
Like they do it by like 6 months or a year, and it's like a couple $100. I'm like, But like, so I did it. What's cool is if somebody, my parents are on there, I have a cousin that's on there, so we're like easily matching up. And it's kind of crazy. You go down through and then you kind of see who you're related to. Obviously, you go down. My dad had a huge family, so there's so many people that are like my second, third cousins that I wouldn't know if ever. So I don't know if I want to actually do the subscription plan and really check for at least a month or two if I can. I think they do 6 months, but they might do a month.
It's fascinating though to see all of it.
Well, I'm 50. I think I'm like 58 or I'm 50 something % Irish.
Yeah, mine's going to be pretty Irish.
You're going to be right where I am, and I'm 33% French.
I'm going to be right there with you.
Okay, and then I'm 18% English, like Scottish.
Oh my god,
English.
I think I'm English too.
We're going to be probably the same. We're very.
I'll have to send you my results
because very fair. You're way more burnt than I am right now, and you have.
Yeah, it's like bad.
I noticed like when you were walking, like you have just like.
It's going to be bad. I'm going to peel.
Was that from today?
No, it's like gradual over like 3 days. But the other day I was so bad that I couldn't like lay in my bed without the sheets hurting it. Yeah, that's how bad it was. Brady thought I was going to
put sunscreen on.
No, I wasn't outside for more than 2 hours, but I was in the garden. So it wasn't like
right
I
on
was
your back.
baking. I wasn't baking.
Yeah, but it was right on
And
your
then I
back.
got in the pool to cool off. And when I got in the pool to like float around for
Started burning a
45
bit?
minutes, that was when it was like completely. My face was horrible. My face always fades.
What?
Good old Irish skin though, nice and pale and pasty.
I've been sunburnt twice. The two worst ones, I went to a golf tournament down in Long Island. They played on a course. This was like a professional tournament.
Yep.
Went down. There was like no tree cover. I got burnt so bad. I remember laying on the bed in the hotel room and I couldn't move because I was so burnt.
Yep.
And like if I would have scratched on something, it would have been agonizing. And then the other time we were on a cruise, and this happened. Three places that I've been burnt really bad on my body when I put sunscreen on. Was my armpit.
And it's painful because you can't put your arm down.
Yeah, but you put like sunscreen on like this,
Yes.
and you never actually
Yep.
go down through your armpit. So I was like, I think I was like laying out, and I think I fell asleep with my hands like behind
Yep.
my head, burnt there. The other one was belly button,
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
like the inside of your belly button, because you don't like ever, you go over it, but you don't actually go like in the edges of it, which I know is weird, but whatever. It was burnt. The other thing was when I was on the cruise, it says a few years back, I put sunscreen up to like my knees because my shorts were hanging down.
Yeah.
So that when you sit down on the chair, your shorts naturally ride up a little bit. So
your
the top
upper
part of my
thighs.
thighs, or I guess lower thighs,
Yeah.
right above the knee, burnt so bad that when we went in, it was like burning. I remember like putting pants on, like to go to dinner or whatever. 'Cause you had to, like kind of dress up. So I like put pants on to go to dinner. And I could feel
like
the
rug
heat.
burn.
I could feel the heat coming through my pants. I was so burnt that I could like put my hands there and I could feel like the warmth coming, and that freaked me out. And yeah, so I need to put sunscreen on a lot.
Eyelids are really bad.
I don't fall asleep though a lot with.
I burned my nose 3 winters ago in Florida so bad that I had a massive blister raised off of my nose, and I had to fly home with it. But it was so ugly, and like it had like ripples through it. That's how bad the blister was. I was like mortified to face people. It would have been great now because I would have worn a mask and it would have been hidden, but it was such a painful, and then it came off in like peeling mode, and it was the most painful thing on my nose. But when I went to Florida, they were in pollen season, I think it was, and I was having horrendous allergies, and I couldn't wipe my nose because everything was burned right here. It was so bad, and it just looked disgusting. It scarred for a little while. I had like a dark circle here.
Yeah, so burning is not fun at all, especially like I said. So you'll end up.
I don't
being,
tan. I only burn.
I want to see your ancestors. Like take a photo of like where you're from after.
Yeah.
But I think I'm about that. Like 55% Irish, it was 33% French, and the balance of it was like English.
Yeah, we're definitely very French Canadian and very Irish.
The cool part though is like it draws rings. So when I went to Ireland. So my grandpa was born in Ireland, came over from Ireland. So he was first generation.
Yeah.
So it zooms in on Ireland. Then it zooms in very much on like the southwest of Ireland, southwest coast of Ireland. And it keeps zooming in to the point where it was like the
house.
So it's like, no. So it's big and then it gets smaller and deeper. So basically it's saying like area.
This area.
And it can really pinpoint kind of a real specific spot. It pinpointed basically where he grew up, which is crazy.
Oh my God.
Like, I mean, the bubble was probably like 20-mile bubble or whatever.
That's so cool. And I'd be the person who'd want to go there though, just to see.
Well, I did actually. When I was a kid, we went over to Ireland. I saw his house.
You did?
Yeah, so it was neat. It was
That's
really cool
cool.
to see. But that was like basically right where he was born and raised, which is cool. And then the other one, which was really high, which I don't. Obviously, we like came from like Europe. Africa, Europe, back over here, but it doesn't go as far back as Africa because everybody's from Africa.
Yeah, I don't know any of that information. On
Like if you were to track your like the civilization started in Africa, so like if you were to really track everything back, everybody is from Africa, like tens of thousands of years ago.
Yep.
So, but it took. There was obviously a bunch over where we live, and which I don't know why. I think they were basically just saying like you match up to people in that area. It wasn't really like where you came from.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So, like the same thing. It was like Canada, Northern New York, Vermont. And they kept getting like more and more to a point where it like got down the Shazy because that was like my parents and grandparents and like so. It's kind of cool how they can really pinpoint where you're from.
Yep.
And then I don't know if it really tells you like where you're from, but it tells you what ethnicity you are.
Yes.
So when it says Ireland, it doesn't say you're like from Ireland, but you're somebody was from Ireland,
yep.
which is my grandpa.
My aunt is a history teacher at Stafford, but she does Ancestry. She actually went to, right before COVID started lockdown, she was flying back from an Ancestry conference, the like Ancestry brand. She's researched our like family names so far back. We know we're direct descendants of John Howland and Elizabeth Tilley on the Mayflower. We have like names of like great grandparents. We know we have George, the Bush family's on our family tree.
Really?
Like way back there. They're like distant cousins, whatever, somehow connected into there. I swear she at one point had it. She went so far like into the ancestry. Obviously you can't get names that far in, but you can see like the bloodline. Mm-hmm. The reason why I said Alexander the Great, I feel like she had said at one point Alexander the Great was on our bloodline.
What was he? What nationality was he?
Was it? Oh, I don't know. I thought English, but I'm really making that up, honestly. I really don't know. But he's
not Russian, is he?
I don't think so. She is so deep
Nicholas
into like she spends hours and hours and hours. That's like what she wants to do. She wants to be in genealogy after she's done school. And she spends so many hours that people are actually like other family friends are actually like hiring her to do their entire list to see what like who it is, what it is that they're related like ethnicity wise, where they come from, like what are they? Are they more Irish or more French? Kind of like what I want to know. But she is very good at pinpointing names. And the day that she told me we were related to John Howland and Elizabeth Tilley, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, we came off of the Mayflower. And they're like 16th or 17th in our family line. It's not even that far.
Wow.
Which is crazy to like think about it. Yeah.
I mean, based on the timeline, yeah. I think, like, my grandmother's maiden name was Trudeau.
Yeah.
So I think I was told this. Now, granted, this was, I don't know how accurate this is, but that, like, Pierre Trudeau, who was the Prime Minister of Canada back in, like, the 70s and 80s, is, like, and Justin's his son, who is the current Prime Minister, is, like, our whatever cousin.
Yeah, back. I believe it.
But, I mean, Justin Trudeau, the president there now, is probably the same, like, generation as I am. He's older than I am, but, like, he's either, like, young for my parents or old for me.
I feel like I read, I don't know how accurate this is because I don't do this. Like, this isn't something I sit and, like, research all the time. I swear to God, I read an article, though, when I was in college because I had to write a paper about my family tree at one point, that there are 10 main bloodlines that everybody in the world are somehow going to eventually link into. Oh. And it's, like, it can go that far back that there's 10 main direct descendants and not people, but, like, bloodlines that everybody, and that's why they always say, like, you're intertwined with everybody, yada yada yada, everyone's related because you all go back into the same compound, like thousands and thousands and thousands of years back.
I know, and this is probably like uneducated of me, is how, because I don't know, and I've never actually like thought about it. How did like people evolve from like monkeys, right? Like a monkey kind of.
I think so, yeah.
So what I'm always curious about, like if you were to go, this is thinking deep. If you were to go back in time, at a certain point, who became like because you don't really just like all of a sudden become a monkey to a person.
Yeah, no,
like, there's
it was a
Neanderthal and people kind of translate.
Yes, I think there was a graph in one of my textbooks in high school. I don't know which textbook, which class I was in, but it had like 9 images.
Like biology. And
it started as a monkey, and then it was like the different branches until it was a walking male.
It's kind of the caveman thing.
Yeah,
like
and it grows and it looks like a caveman. What you came out of at the end, and it explained like the time frame of when it started here. I don't know if mutation is the right word, but it's almost like it mutated.
Adaptation.
And then it was, I think, 9 different types before it was finally a man with like arms, legs, body parts, ears,
even
a nose,
when you think like
everything.
Facial features, like if you go back the whatever, I don't know, people before us, whatever that species was, they looked like, when you say the caveman, like you just had kind of weird features until they slowly adapted. But like, well, that's what you talk about, like why is our skin tone so darn white? Because our families are not near the equator.
Yep.
Near the equator, you're darker skinned. And that's just how, like, so when you talk about, like, that's an adaptation. So, like, again, people from Africa, very dark skin because they're down on the equator. But then as you go farther up, like, take people from Sweden, very fair because they're not anywhere close to where it's hot. So they get burned too.
Yeah. You know what that just made me wonder about? Like, where and when did the albino... How do you become albino? I don't know.
You just live way up north, maybe. I don't know.
Isn't it in, like... isn't it?
I would think like
where is it that is like a lot of the population? They're considered albino.
I would think like what is Scandinavia? Like
I don't know. It's north, like as far north as you can go.
I would say like northern Sweden or northern Finland or northern like.
In high school, everyone used to tell me they thought it was albino because like my face like glows in the dark from how pale it is.
You're dark hair.
I have dark hair, yeah, and then I dyed my hair platinum at one point, like platinum blonde, and that was. Yeah, and I like don't have eyebrows.
I want to see the picture of that.
And like I was platinum blonde, and I remember that was not for me because of how fair my skin was, because I don't tan.
Platinum blonde's a tough look to pull off.
It's so hard to keep up with though that I was like done with it before I even started.
But my thought before was if you take the human, like if you go all the way back and you're talking like where did everything kind of, I wonder when humans became humans, like that species, and when like the continental drift happened.
I know.
Because that kind of brought...
Yeah.
Because you got to think, like, a continental drift takes millions and millions and millions and millions of years for something to go. And you're talking the distance of the Atlantic or Pacific Ocean, like how far apart that is. That you like South America moved from Africa thousands of miles over millions and millions of years, considering that it's probably moving like a quarter of an inch a year. So you got to think how insane, maybe more. I don't know.
So where are we? Do you know where we're moving now? I know that I've heard of it. Which direction is the United States shifting?
I would think everything is shifting out. Well, I don't know.
Like, are we shifting closer to Russia that way, or
I think we're shifting away.
I
think everybody's shifting away from Africa, because Africa was the original hub. But now, was Africa the original hub, or did things break off? Like, what was the original? Everybody says it breaks off of Africa. So was Africa?
No, I think it literally did break off of Africa, because if you put like
it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
You can literally stick them all together.
Yeah, it's a jigsaw puzzle for the most part.
And that's why I don't understand like where are we shifting now? And it doesn't have to do with like the plate tectonics and all that stuff.
I would assume we're still going up towards Russia. But Russia and Asia went off this way because you're going around the globe. So at some point in time, I would think that Russia and Alaska would collide.
I'm literally Googling
And if
it.
Russia and Alaska collide, what does that form, Anna? Do you remember?
A peak?
Mountains, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that going to happen?
Supposedly...
Is there like a timeline for this? That's what I want to know.
I heard that India was a separate like land at one point in time. Like India was its like own continent, and it went into Asia, which made the Himalayas.
Oh, National Geographic.
Like I think
Europe starting to dive under Africa? So that means that one must be shifting down.
Could be.
Is Africa moving towards Europe? It has been moving over the past 100 million years or so in a general northeast direction. So it's drawing it closer to the Eurasian plate, causing subduction where oceanic crust is converging with continental crust. I don't know what any of that means.
It's pretty weird though, but I think like that's why.
The next question is, can I just move to Europe?
You might be able just to walk to Europe pretty soon.
Yeah, seriously.
But if India, and you could probably check this, but I think India came off of Africa and collided up into Asia. Yes, and it fits somehow
into it. There's a pocket of India that fits perfectly into Africa.
Yeah, but India at one point would have been its own continent, kind of like Australia is now.
Yep.
And what happened was it went up, crushed into, which is bizarre because it like moved.
I know, how cool though.
It moved into Asia, and then it kept enough to go up 29,000, because I think it's 29,000 feet. Mount Everest.
If you know that, that's kind of impressive. I don't
Google
know
it. I think it is. So I think it went up to 29. Mount Everest is the tallest peak, so I think that is 29,000 feet plus a little bit, give or take. I don't know the exact number. That'd be weird.
Let's see. I just Googled it, and it says
29,540 is my guess.
29,035.
Ah,
oh, you're close though.
35.
That's funny.
So that's what happened there. So you got to think too, like in where we are, the Adirondacks, I think, are the oldest mountain range in North America.
I think so, yeah.
So the Rockies,
which aren't we like also one of the biggest, if not the second biggest, something like that?
I think it's the largest national park in the U.S.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that?
And we still have untouched parts of our mountains that humans have never, don't think, been inside of.
Because I saw a graphic, Mackenzie, who worked here, she posted it one day, and it showed, like, I think it's like Arcadia and Yellowstone and all these different parks, national parks.
Yeah.
Over in, like, you have obviously the Adirondacks, and you drop them in. So I was thinking like the Adirondacks obviously are big, but we live in New York, so like you've driven through and around and everything, so it doesn't seem that big. But when you drop like
massive.
I always thought like Yellowstone was big. You drop Yellowstone, it's like a blip on the screen.
Yes.
So like or like what's the other ones down in California? Forgot whatever. But the idea, like
I know I'm like so bad about remembering all
yeah,
that.
so, well, like national parks, I'm bad. But if you drop these national parks, and I thought they were huge, but they're not. So then, like I'm like
they're just like, they make you think they're huge by like how big they talk, like how big they talk about it though.
Yeah, like
it's
Yellowstone, like this place
portrayed
is
to you
huge.
as some massive like compound of land.
Yeah, and it's really not. And I always thought the Adirondacks were small relative, and I was like, completely wrong. So that would have lost that quiz question. But you got to think like the Adirondack Mountains are very dense.
Yep.
Because they're not bare mountains; they're very dense mountains. You have some bare peaks, but for the most part, it's a very thick place. Which is why when they built, you got to think about like back in the Revolutionary War days, when they were traveling from like here to like the Battle of Saratoga and the Battle of Ticonderoga, like they had to bushwhack through all those trees. And you're talking like was it cavalry?
Cavalry, I think.
Cavalry. It's a weird word.
Cavalry.
Like the Cavaliers for basketball. Cavalry. They would have to like take horses and wagons of like materials and stuff.
Can you imagine?
And they had to like cut down trees and like how do you cut down a tree in the Adirondack? You just like cut it down, like push it off to one side.
No, seriously, or hope it doesn't fall back on you.
Yeah, so then all of a sudden, how many times were like did a tree
how
fall
long
in
did
their
it take them to get here?
But you think like the tree fell down in your path, and then you're like, crap, now we got to cut this tree up.
Yeah, like this is a whole day again. Like it takes 35 years.
You want to hear something that's kind of mind blowing?
Yeah.
You have to cut the tree down before you can cut the tree up.
Yeah, I know.
So side fact. That's my dad joke. So you think about going down there. So then you think about going back again. Sorry, we're going to land masses. Go back to people. When we like, how far back until you can really trace like how many generations? I'm sure you could like look this up, but like how many generations back until you hit when I guess we were now considered like fully human, which I don't know when the point.
I know. I don't even know if they like can
it's
decipher
probably
exactly
over like a 1,000-year period.
Yeah.
And then you go back to like, what monkey is my family from?
No, seriously. Isn't there? Okay, maybe I'm reaching like too far for this one. Isn't there a type of science that you can study that is literally the history and science, like the anatomy of a monkey? Because
I'm sure
we still use like the monkeys are the lead in the COVID-19 vaccination.
Yeah.
Like they're what are testing our products. Actually, I think we're in human now, but
I read
like. I think there is a branch of what you can go to school for and specialize in is the history and scientific anatomy evidence behind the monkey, the gorillas, like all of it together. Like how did it all connect?
So I think if anybody listens to this, please fact check everything because I don't know any
I know,
of this. This is like,
I like failed bio.
This is like this is like stuff in my head that I'm like going back into like the memory bank of like science class back in the day. I think monkeys. Chromosomes. I'm gonna be really sad if this doesn't record because it's showing it's recording, but it's giving me that blinking light, which happened once and didn't record. If this doesn't record, I'll be mad.
We'll just have to redo it, I guess. I'll have to just remember everything I said today.
Yeah, you could go longer. If this doesn't, I could be like, okay, we're gonna start over, and you'd be fine. You just run.
Oh, I could go for days.
You would just run.
I was quarantined for 3 months. I'm ready for this.
I know. You gave us a whole podcast before we started the podcast when we were here. So, but if you go, I think monkeys and humans. Is it chromosomes or genes or whatever? They're only off by like a very, very, very small amount. Like minuscule amount, meaning like 90, again, please fact check me. I think it's like 90, 95, 99. It's some crazy high percentage that us and monkeys are almost identical.
Yep.
And we're only off by like 1 or 2 percentage points of whatever genes or chromosomes. Very strange.
That's it, but it's so cool. Like I nerd out over that, like deep diving into like what is and what was. You know what I mean?
Like that kind of the one thing that, and this is for everybody, that makes you feel the most insignificant is just stare up in the sky on a clear night when you look at the sky and then you just realize in your head like I'm so insignificant.
That's what freaks me out though. Is that's why when I was a kid, my biggest fear was aliens. I'm like terrified of like the outside, like space and the universe above us.
I would bet, again, about as sure as I was that Ben Stiller was driving that car, that there was definitely aliens out in space.
Yeah, they actually just said this week that they know that there's at least, I think, 30 different planets that has to have advanced life form. That was on CNN.
Really?
This week. They said that but it could take billions of years for us to locate each other because that's how big the galaxies like are.
So if you go in and you see like,
I just said like are. Like I'm so educated. I'm listening to the way I'm saying like and literally, and I'm like, just shut up, Anna.
Elbow. So if you take go on YouTube, type in, I don't know, planet proportions. Have you ever watched one of these videos?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Let me see your phone. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Type in like planet ratio or planet, like I'll know it when planet ratio or planet sizes.
Planet Earth compared to other planets and stars in size.
I'll tell you which one to watch because I'm just guessing. They're probably all really good. Okay, so the one I'm thinking of is the one that is the 57 million view one. It's called Universe Size Comparison 3D. If you want to blow your mind, because this one, do you want to do this? Because it's going to freak you out.
Well, is it really going to freak me out bad? Like,
yes.
Am I going to lose sleep over it because I'm terrified of aliens?
No, it has nothing to do with aliens. It just proves how big the universe is.
Yeah, it'll freak me out.
Third one down. Watch it. I want to see your reaction.
Okay, I'm gonna.
And kind of hold it up on the side because I want to be able to kind of see where you're going with this. So just kind of spin it and hold it for a little bit because there's a point you're gonna say, "What the f?" So turn it. I gotta be able to see it.
Hold on.
It's an ad. It's an ad.
I have to skip the ad.
Tide Pod or something. Snack on that.
My God, I hate when it doesn't let you skip it.
All right, so you turn it up and then. Okay, so what's that say?
Series? I don't know how to say that.
Okay, there's the moon, so there's something we know. So we know how big the moon is, right?
Yeah.
So buckle up. This is 5 minutes now.
Oh, God.
Okay, so that's something. So now we're going to Mercury, which is the smallest planet. Now much bigger than the moon.
Oh.
So at a certain point, you'll be freaked out.
Even Mars, though. Look at the size difference between that.
And it's kind of cool because it shows you the planet. So this is actually a really cool video. Let me turn this down slightly. No, you're good. You can keep it there. Kind of weird music.
I know, it's like haunting music.
Venus. There we go. So now we're getting bigger.
I didn't realize that we're bigger than Venus and Mars.
So there's Earth. Not much. There's Earth. So now, ready? Buckle up. You know how big Earth is. We're only about 30 seconds into this.
Are you kidding me?
That is another planet.
Kepler.
Not in our solar system. Well, maybe not in our solar system, but our like galaxy.
Yeah.
There's
Neptune is that big?
Oh, yeah. Oh, buckle up. You're up for a treat right now. We're at Neptune. We got 4 more minutes of this, folks.
This is crazy town.
This will blow your mind. There's literally...
Whatever's to the right of that one, I don't even want to see it.
Anna,
I can see it already.
Anna, now think...
Oh, God.
Oh, no. This is just Saturn. You've heard of this planet. Like just...
Jupiter is even bigger than that?
Yeah, Jupiter's the largest one. That's the largest in our solar system. Now, hold up.
Oh, don't show me the sun, because the sun freaks me out.
Okay, well, the sun, I think, is coming... Well, actually, this might not even be the sun. The sun's a star, by the way. You want to hear a fun fact, too? That's not even the sun. The fun fact is the sun is, I believe, one of the closest stars is the closest star to us. That's why it's so bright. It's a star. So think about stars up in the sky.
That's scary.
That's the sun. So the sun is the closest, which is why it looks so big.
And now that they have all of them down there, look at that.
Oh, yeah. So hold on. Hold
we
your
are
horses.
a lunch meal to the sun.
We are not a Sirius A. That's a star. These are stars. So you got to think stars and planets. So it's showing in proportion how big they are. So we're like a speck on Vega.
We don't even matter.
Keep watching.
Oh, forget it.
Keep watching. So you're getting freaked out now. So what's this one? Arcturus.
Oh.
Wait till they do.
You can't even see Earth anymore on
that.
No.
Like, no. Oh. This is where it gets freaky. No, keep it going. This is great. So we're 2 minutes in, and you can't even see Earth on this spectrum anymore.
Yeah, we're non-existent.
Regal. Oh. Whoop. That's called Beetlejuice. Great. It's actually in a Dave Matthews song, but that's great. Beetlejuice.
Oh, God.
Different spelling than Beetlejuice the movie. And this is Canis Minor. These are all stars. So if you think about it, like how you can see the sun. The sun is the smallest, is the closest, so that's why it looks so big.
See, and those things freak me out, though, because, like, black holes and that stuff, that's what scares me.
But these are all just things that we know about.
Yeah.
We know about these. We can see, wait. What's this one? Oh.
NGC 1277.
Yep, so look how big that one is. Oh, and then we're going to go whoop. This is called...
Ton 618.
Like, does this blow your mind?
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't learn about this in science.
What's
I don't
that?
think.
What's
Cat's
that?
Eye Nebula.
Yeah, like this is insane.
That looks cool, though.
It does look cool. That's kind of a pretty thing. Is that the galaxy?
Helix Nebula.
So, like, just think about how
3
small...
light years.
Oh,
That is 3 light years.
look at this.
Orion Nebula? Orion Nebula?
Or Orion.
24
Like
light
Orion's
years.
belt, yeah. Look at this.
That is... Like
Aren't you freaked out?
Yes, that's
It's nauseating because you're
nauseating.
really like, oh my God, how big is this place?
And it just keeps
Oh,
going,
it's
though.
5 minutes long, Anna. This just keeps... This is... Yes. This is absolutely insane.
Wow, I'm clearly sheltered because I didn't know this was a thing.
This is the big... This...
Oh,
The Milky Way.
Milky Way.
You've heard of the Milky Way. This is how big this is. Watch this. Now, the Milky Way is a speck compared to that thing. And it's a speck compared
But,
to
like,
that
I
thing.
can see the Milky Way at night.
But it's like speck of that, speck of that. But you got to think how big it is and how far
That
away
we
it is
can
that we can see it.
And it's a star to us.
Look at that thing. What's that big boy?
The universe.
Oh, the universe. Okay. Well, let's not exaggerate because we don't know the size of the universe. But he's just...
I'm like amazed though that they can like track it down to that.
So-
like we're that advanced that we can see that.
Yeah, and that's what we know. That's not
I
even like
know.
what we don't know. So you got to think how small the Earth is. Like, it blows your mind how...
No, seriously.
When they talk about traveling to Mars, which is huge, like...
And like, are we
Mars is
trying to
the
go to the moon in
closest
like
planet.
2024 again? So like, they're trying to
No,
get up there. Or 20.
Oh, yeah, they just sent a U.S. spacecraft up into...
And tomorrow they're doing the spacewalk. It's tomorrow live. You
Oh,
can
really?
watch. It's 6 hours, and they're going to be outside fixing all of the whatever they have to
Yeah,
do. But
that's
they're going to be
crazy.
like outside of it.
But the one that just went up was the SpaceX, which is Elon Musk's company. It was the first
I've
time
never
they public-
seen one of those though. I've never
That's pretty
watched
cool.
a live like American
Elon-
launch in America.
Cape Coral? Yeah. Cape Coral? Cape Canaveral.
Canaveral.
Canaveral, right?
I think so.
It's in Florida. Like, Elon Musk is just like...
A brainiac.
Yeah. And people don't know... I think they're just starting to hear of him because of like Tesla.
Yeah, it
but
was in the last like 8 years.
that he really like kind of, I think,
Yes.
popped, but he was back in like PayPal. Like,
Yeah.
He was like, he's been doing this for many, many years. So
He's also I think fascinating though because he's not always well liked, I don't think, but like he has like a fascinating back history.
yeah, he's can be opinionated, but he's almost...
He's a genius.
He's a genius.
Literally
He's
a
too
genius.
he's too smart for normal
Yeah,
people.
he doesn't even know like I feel like he's almost too smart that he doesn't even know how to function with his smartness.
Yeah, because
and that's why he sometimes comes across the way he does.
because people are too, like, honestly just too dumb to talk to him because he's
Yeah.
just that smart. Do you
Yep.
see what he named his son?
Yeah, I can't even say it. I don't even know
Yeah.
what it is.
And so I listened to the Rogan podcast. He literally went on like a couple days after the kid was born and like explained what the name was.
And isn't it some scientific like code?
Yeah, it's something weird.
And then he corrected his I don't know if it's his girlfriend or wife, but he corrected her on what she spelled the code as and was like, did you see that Twitter interaction? She tweeted something about her kid's name and it's the code of like whatever, like 8 digits and numbers. And he writes back and he corrected her halfway through it and was like, but yeah, you get it. I was like, wait, what? Like,
But I think
you don't
he
even like,
pronounced the name, but one of the words is like X or Ax or something. So,
Yes.
So it's like
But I
you
don't know
can
what
at
it
least
means.
pronounce it, and then some of them is just like numbers.
Can you imagine being the substitute teacher taking attendance and getting like in so much just made fun of when you try to pronounce that name?
It'll be like Elon's kid. I feel like I don't know, and Elon's a weird name too.
Yeah, except I kind of like the name
Elon Musk
It's
sounds
kinda
really cool. It literally sounds like
Yeah.
like a scientist dude. Like Elon Musk's name is him. Like it just seems
Yeah.
like it fits him more than anything else. Like weird
No,
guy.
it definitely does.
I got his biography or autobiography or whatever. No, I guess biography. I don't think he wrote it. As an audiobook, which I want to listen to because I'm fascinated by people that are very
like ahead of the time.
yeah. Well, I am fascinated by high achievers. Is that I guess
Yeah.
someone that accomplishes
That
stuff.
he is.
Like just some, I like books on people that have accomplished stuff because I like reading about successful people because I like to take what I'm never envious of people that are successful. I'm always curious because I'm like, how did they do it? What did they do?
Yeah.
One of my biggest fascinations, take like a Jeff Bezos. Okay, he's built this mega company,
Yep.
richest man in the world. Google Jeff Bezos, Amazon, 1990. There's a picture of him working. Have you seen this photo?
No.
Okay, Google Jeff Bezos 1990 on your phone. Sorry, I'm making you. You're like
No, that's fine.
our
Jeff Bezos.
To give you context so you can see what I'm talking about.
1990.
And let me see the photo. He's in his office. He's
Oh,
typing on
I
a computer.
see it. Oh my God. And it's like
he's got an Amazon banner. That's it right there. Amazon spray painted banner.
Look
and he's got
at
crap all
that.
over the floor. So he was probably making nothing. And I
It
remember
was on 60 Minutes.
yeah, well, he's maybe semi-known then. But I remember Amazon started as you bought books through Amazon. That was
And
the thing.
Amazon was my quarantine lifestyle.
Yeah, and now you buy everything through, like you literally live
I
off
get everything.
Amazon.
And if I don't want to go to the store, I order on Amazon.
So you think Jeff Bezos, what's cool is like I would love to see what was Jeff Bezos doing, because people always get like, okay, Mark Zuckerberg was an anomaly, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
Evan Spiegel, founder of Snapchat, anomaly. These
Yep.
guys were young. I read his book too, and
Except I'm more fascinated with Evan Spiegel than I am with Mark Zuckerberg. Evan Spiegel has a more... He has a less... how do I word this? He has a less dramatic rise to fame, where he's more fascinating in terms of like what exactly he achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Where Mark Zuckerberg had a lot of issues intertwined with his... Even personal issues.
a lot
where
of
his,
legal stuff.
Yes,
I read the
so
one about
he-
Snapchat. They ended up getting there was 3 guys that founded Snapchat, and one guy kind of got forced
Out?
I don't know if he got
Yeah,
forced
I don't know
out
if
or
it was like a
legal
failed
action, or they had to
friendship or
buy him
whatever,
out or
but-
something.
Yeah, but I just feel like Facebook even now has a lot of issues that follow it, with like the privacy policies, even the political stuff being shared, like fact checking. And I feel like Mark Zuckerberg to me is now at the point where I don't think he is. I think he has so much in front of him now that even he is struggling with like, how can he fact check? How can he do privacy policies? How can he make this legal?
So a couple things, and I'll touch on that slightly. And so I have like the Snapchat book, I have the social network book, I have the Hatching Twitter book. Like I have the books about that because I like.
Oh my God.
I kind of like tech.
they're, like, right
I
there.
have the Steve Jobs book.
yeah, he's fascinating.
That's a big old book. That's Walter Isaacson. That's a big
Yeah.
long one. But I haven't read all of them yet. I've read 1, 2, maybe. But the whole idea of like the fascination about where they started. So like I'm not. The Evan Spiegel and like the Zuckerberg one don't fascinate me as much because it was a quick rise to fame, and not to say it wasn't great, but it was just something that they happened to hit something at the right time.
Yes.
But then I look at the guys like Steve Jobs, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. He's the founder of Nike. Phenomenal book, because you talk obviously Nike now, like where Nike is. He was selling Japanese running shoes out of the back of his car in the 70s. So now you think about where he is now, and like this like mega billionaire that people don't even know what he looks like. And it's funny because in the book, he actually says there's a story that like he went to the movies with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett.
My God.
And nobody knew who he was, and he was the founder of Nike because he's just not a very public figure. So, but that's a really good book, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. So, but it's the idea of taking someone that's successful, and where were they when they started to like we know.
I see the Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
one.
the
That
white
is
one.
a big one.
Yeah, yeah. So that one. So you take like a Steve Jobs or a Bill Gates, or you watch, and I like watching the biographies of like where they started to where they're at now, because people. One of the things that I hate is people think you're going to get something fast and quick, and success is going to come overnight, and it doesn't. So and again, I'm 30. I'm not old. So I look at this as like I'm just at the very start of my career. I was kind of lucky by chance that I fell into a career that I really liked at 20, and I didn't like. I've always talked about this. I didn't like it at 20.
In it at 30.
Yeah. This is my 10th year, so I've had at 30. I've been in a professional career for a decade, which a lot of 30-year-olds can't say. The same professional career.
Yep.
So when I went in at 20, I didn't want to do it. Like I talked about this before, but I get to like probably 25 before I was really like I want to kind of maybe stick with it. And it wasn't until probably 4 years ago where I was really thinking I'm going to make a career of this, or at least for the foreseeable future. So one of my goals, my long-term goal, my first year of real estate was I want to be the top producing realtor in 10 years. That was my 10-year goal. I want to do it by the end of my 10th year. That would be this year, which would be cool. Like my goal by the end of the year is to be, I was close last year. I was in the top 3, but I wasn't 1. So I look at, and this is out of like 150 people. So like you got to be like pretty high up, especially real estate, which is the average age is like 50s. The average age of realtors is like 50s. And you got to think like, I think right now if I was to take the board numbers, I'm probably still in the top 10 youngest people on the board, and I've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a weird like idea, but the one thing that I've thought about when you talk about like Jeff Bezos and Zuckerberg, they're so far removed from that original layer. There's no way that they can micromanage everybody.
Yep.
So they are top. They're got
just,
like Mark Zuckerberg has Sheryl Sandberg, right? She's like the CEO.
I don't even know her name.
I think it's Sheryl Sandberg. I think is her name. I believe she is the CEO or the COO of this. So you think about, you can only have control for so long. Like I'm looking at like our company. We're a small business. Like I brought on Nicolette Monday as my full-time assistant. And we're like, as you saw, we were like, we're figuring it out. Like this is our first
it'll
week.
take some time though.
Yeah. So that's scaling me too, because I've gotten busy where I want to make sure that I can scale my position. So I'm not lacking in, I only have so much time in the day. So I get stressed out every day because I'm like, I have just so much going on. All good stuff. Like I don't want to not, but I want to be faster responding to people. So that's what Nicolette's going to help me do, is that I will still be able to use my knowledge and help people.
But you won't be like flooded.
But I don't want to do all the, what I call, little things that I was sitting at a computer filing stuff and organizing and putting notes in. I don't want to do that, because at the end of the day, my effort is best spent with clients, giving them information and how to sell their home. Like me setting up an appointment for me is not a good use of my time. Going to the appointment, being with somebody and helping them out is a good use of my time. It's a good use of my skill set. So that's what I'm scaling. So when you talk about like being removed, this is something I've even learned this week. There's certain things that I'm like, well, why don't, like, I guess we'll do that, but we got to test it to see if it works. Because for me, it's like, I have no problem delegating stuff, but for me, if I lose control of that, is there gonna be gaps in my communication that would hurt, because I've always been on top of all my stuff? Well, I've gotten to the point now, I can handle the client aspect. I can't handle the back end stuff, which Nicole already does her closing work, but it's all even the back end stuff from current clients that is. So I'm fine with like going to the appointments and being in front of people and like helping them out. I love doing that. If I could be out on the road all day long just meeting with people, I would love it. It's all the technical stuff, getting paperwork together, that like I don't, listing appointments, like getting the documents together. I don't want to do it.
It slows you down.
Yeah, give me the folder. I'll go do the thing. I'll make sure it's good. I know what I'm doing. We'll sell your house. Like I'm very confident in that. But it's that idea of like, man, there's
never enough time in the day.
No, and one of the things I was just talking, I mean, we were talking about this. Like, I plan on building this company up to something bigger than just real estate. Like, again, I look at it like I've been doing real estate for 10 years. I'm 30. I plan on doing real estate for the foreseeable future, but I think I'm going to add branches under the whatever this umbrella is.
Yep.
Which we just wrap in there.
Sign me up.
What up? What up? So like, but there's certain people that
I was saying like yes.
Oh yeah, so there's certain, like, what I want to do, what I think would be one of the biggest, like, this is how my brain works. Like this downtown, we've talked about it. Like this is like this downtown water area is to me is like a visual.
I heard your plan with Matt Craig yesterday.
Yeah, like visually, this is what I want.
Yes.
I gotta sketch it out. I gotta like turn it into like a bad drawing, because meaning I'm bad at drawing. But like my vision of what I would love to see this place do, if I had enough money, like like one of my goals is to accumulate enough wealth to dump it all back in the North Country, to build up the North Country even better for like the next generation.
Which it needs it.
Yeah, and I think
like we have a cool spot. That's the thing that like, don't even get me on this rant, because I have this screaming match with my family all the time. I'm like, we have so many different like areas in our area that we could make so cool, and we don't have the funding to do it, but we also don't have people that show genuine interest in doing it.
I think there's a little bit of a switch within the our peers, and I'm big, like I like being with the Adirondack Young Professional Group because they're really big on that. And I have some really good friends that we've discussed this and stuff. And I think a lot of us, if we're like rowing in the right direction, I call it Rising Tide, like Rising Tide Society. You see that? Yeah. A rising tide raises all ships. My goal is to try to, for me to personally accumulate wealth, because I want to eventually put it back into the community from like a philanthropical standpoint, meaning like, do some stuff where we, like I said, build this company out where it's not just a real estate company.
Yeah.
Real estate's like
It goes bigger.
real
and
estate would
deeper.
be like the
Yeah.
early, like Amazon Books is like Kavanaugh Real Estate.
Yeah.
And then it grows. And then I want to create jobs and positions for, it's kind of like nepotism, but not family, but family and friends. Like you, I've like, there's people in my head that I'm like, they just get it. Like, they're people that like the positive, they like the area, they have the same positive vibe, energy,
Yeah.
like thought. So you're like one of those people, like, I want to be able to create a position at one day that Anna can step in and do something within
Rocket.
something rocket. Well, I don't know what, maybe it would be mass producing charcuterie boards, but
Maybe.
something that we do
They're very
that,
popular.
and you're good at it. Something that like you could step in and like run a department. And I have a couple friends in my head that I'm like, I would love to have them work with me someday on a big, massive scale where it probably won't be just North Country. Like maybe farther out. I don't know. And again, this is like a long term goal where I'm like, my 10-year goal is to be the top realtor. And then you got to compound everything.
Yeah.
So if I can like pull that off this year, then I'm like, great. I accomplished a long-term 10-year goal that I didn't set out in year one and be like, I got to do it by year two. It was unrealistic. I gave myself time because I knew it was like what I call like a distant climb or a gradual climb to a distant horizon.
Yeah.
Meaning like I'm giving myself time to reach the peak. I'm not scaling up something very fast. So that's what I look at the next.
My dad always says it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
He
Day to
tells me
day
all
to
the
me
time.
is a sprint, meaning like day to
Yeah.
day I'm like running, boom, boom, all over the place. But my long-term vision is like this is a big part of the puzzle. And
Yeah.
so then I look at like, okay, 20 to 30, I got more confident, I gained more knowledge, I made more connections with people. Now 30 to 40 is going to be, I think, like one of my most fun decades because I think it's just there's so much that's going to be done in that time period.
Yeah, and you're like
it's going to be a
taking
compound
off now. You know what I mean? So
But think about when they talk about the snowball effect.
Yeah.
Like if I got like the snowball
And then
rolling
you
right
get
now,
going.
but now we take like that what we just call
The
that
planet?
the planet thing.
Yeah.
Like we're just rolling into like the moon right now, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna like roll that thing into like something bigger over 10 years because it'll compoundly get bigger at a quicker rate.
Yeah.
So then you think, okay, 30 to 40, and then what's my 40 to 50, and what's my 50 to 60, and 60 to 70? Because I can't just sit still. So like this is what I plan on potentially doing. So if you take like 50 years from now, I will be 80. Like imagine what you could do compoundly in 50 years. So this is why you look at like people that are high performers that have done stuff over time.
Yeah.
Most of them have done it a long time. So when you look at someone that's successful in their 60s, like Bill Gates is like in his 70s and like he's a huge name.
Yeah.
And then you look at like what he did back in like, so a lot of these guys were like, well, your age, I was working as like the male kid in the business.
No, yeah.
But then you watch where like Phil Knight was selling shoes out of the back of a car, like barely making ends meet, probably like living in a parent's basement.
Yeah.
Like, so then you take all that, and the problem is
It
people
seems
want
like with those businesses though that like once they took off, they never sat back down.
And
Like you didn't have like that 10-year gap. You know what I mean? Where you're like growing. It's like once you hit it, it seems like they hit it, and then they just kept getting like bigger, and they had a bigger team to get bigger and better. You know what I mean?
that's why you talk about scaling. So for like us, we like Nicole scales my pending files.
Yep.
Nicolette's going to scale my like life right now. And then what's going to happen is as that gets big, so right there's two positions that we technically, you create through what you're doing. Then it might be, I mean, from Nicole to Nicolette was a few years. Now it might be from Nicolette to the next person only like 2 years. And then from
Yeah.
like that person to the
Even
next person.
less.
Then all of a sudden you're talking like almost yearly you're bringing someone on.
Yep.
In some facet. So my goal is to, from at least a real estate perspective, is get the new agents on board where they can become full-time agents. And then from there, create positions that support the overall company. Because at some point in time, I'm going to scale my complete, like I'm going to have at some point in time step away from sales. Like it will just have to happen. Like
Yeah.
I won't be able to do it. I will then be working on bigger projects. So my goal is the Hannahs and the Ellies and the Courtneys and like the Dells and all these people that work here is to get them to a point where they can like take everything that I've grown and just take
And-
that.
yeah.
And then I will move on to something different. And that's the goal. So I don't think I'll be in real estate. I'll be in real estate, but I won't be doing like what I'm doing now full time.
Yeah, like all day, every day. This.
Yeah, like I'll step
Just
away
this.
and I'll like kind of set the groundwork of what needs to be done and train and like step in and then
Yeah.
go build other stuff. And then I look at it like tap you in a few years and be like, okay, I need you to run this. And you'd be like, okay, great. Boom, boom, boom. I already got my Kavanaugh hat. Like just jump in.
And my Christmas ornament.
And your Christmas ornament. So like that's like a long-term goal. But the cool thing about that is it allows you to focus on something that will take like a lifetime to build. So then I don't look at it as I'm ever finished. And I don't,
Yep.
and what I think some people do, like if I looked at my goal of like being the top realtor, like that was like a 10-year goal. And then what happens if I hit it? Then I'm like, okay, like I'm there, like great. Like then it gets
Yeah.
kind of boring. So for me, that's like a speck on what I want to do. So to me, that's a stepping stone. So I'll hit it. I'm like, cool, I did it. And then like the next day I'll just keep grinding because I'm working for something like 50 years down the road. So, and again, I always say modern
It can
medicine,
happen,
I'll
though.
probably live to like 120. So really like 80 years down the road.
Yeah,
So
you never know.
So that's kind of the thing in my head that would be kind of cool. So I don't know, it's kind of weird, but that's why I take a lot of stock from those people. And then I don't expect to build a Facebook. I don't. But I'm saying at a certain point in time, I will be removed from
Your daily work activities,
like being
now,
as involved on like the front lines, where I will be in a different position, which is natural as you build stuff up. So like, yes, Mark Zuckerberg is not going to know everything that's going on at Facebook or in every department or whatever. So he's got department chairs and he's got upper management for them. And then you can see how it breaks down. And that's ideally how you have to do it. You know, it's not, you know, you would like to be every place at every time and doing everything. If I was a robot, I would do everything because I would do a good job at it. I think I'm good at everything, but everything's not the best use of my time, I should say, because time is obviously like a finite resource. The most finite resource anybody has, time and health. So if you have time and health, you only have so much of both, meaning health, meaning like young and energetic and stuff, and then time being obviously 24 hours in the day, and then trying to figure out that balance and everything else. So it's fun though. Like I think it's just like
never bored.
Never bored, and like always working towards something. Because I'm one of those people. I'm like constant improvement every day, whether it be, you know, physically like working out one day, whether it be mentally reading a book or researching something or watching that video, like just things to like expand your mind and get better.
Yeah.
Whether it's going on. I mean, I've been in again thousands of homes and probably have met with 1,000+ clients in 10 years. So you got to think
literally. How
many people and conversations have I had where I've just basically been sharpening the axe kind of thing of like getting better and better and better and better. So it's taken time, but it's like, it's good. And then you kind of build off of taking that knowledge and bring it to something else, You take like Elon Musk is doing SpaceX and Tesla. We started with PayPal. So which is a huge thing. But then what was he doing prior to that? And that's where you want to go back to is, where was he at 20, 25, 30? What was he doing?
Yeah.
Was he like, honestly, probably some nerdy kid living with like six friends, like coding in a place in a ratty old apartment?
And coding sucks.
Yeah, I've never done it. Don't want to do it. But like, that's the kind of stuff that's what Bill Gates did, like nonstop. That's all he did. And that's what Mark Zuckerberg did. And coding obviously is like a buzzword kind of thing, but that's what they did for tech. And I like tech, but there's certain things that I don't know. I like marketing. I like people. I like building stuff. I like projects. I like puzzles. So for me, this is all like a stepping stone and things you build off of. And it's kind of like I don't know. It's like a mental exercise every day, but it's fun. And even like negative stuff, like, you know, in our business, you could have a negative moment or a deal falls apart or a client stops using you or doesn't want to use you anymore.
I mean, it also happens to everybody.
Yeah. So, but I look at that, it's like a little blip, but then I'm like, I'm so good at deflecting that I'm like, I'm so like focused, like this is what I want to do, that any negative, I'm like, okay, in the garbage, keep moving. Like kind of like throw the ball. And like,
I think a big issue with like the small businesses, entrepreneurs in our generation, the thing that I notice the most is that a lot of people in our like generalized age group that are like doing their own hustle, they're doing their own thing, they're trying to succeed in the workplace. You can't like critique to help them get better anymore. People take offense to everything. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm that person that like, if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me. Like, I would rather hack it right now. I'm not going to go cry about it later. Like, just tell me instead of like making this a bigger thing. And I feel like a lot of the people now don't like that. Do
you think you live in like a third body or a out of body experience at times?
Yeah.
There's times I look at my life like I know this sounds weird. I look at my life and my day to day as like I'm looking in on my life like Truman Show kind of, like I'm looking and I'm watching myself live my life, meaning I can like step away and look at my actions or decisions or place from a macro level where it's like, you're not doing that good. It's almost like I'm watching over myself and I'm like that. Okay. Don't like do that. Do this.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm coaching myself. It's weird to think about, but there's times I can vividly like step out, like think like critiquing myself from like a secondary
Yes.
source,
Yeah.
and then adjust. And that maybe everybody does that. I don't know, but that's something that I found.
I feel like a lot of people don't, because in the people that like
awareness
haven't
of
worked
what you're
out,
doing?
yeah, awareness. A lot of people who are working like positions that, even people that I've had experience with like letting go because they couldn't function in a professional environment.
Yeah.
It's like they never looked at it from an out of body experience where they were like, okay, this is where I could do better. I get myself so worked up sometimes that if I have like a week where like I feel like I didn't do like the maximum that I should have done, like that Saturday and Sunday that I'm quote unquote off, and my brain is just like racking in everything and thinking about it all, I get like worried because I'm like, okay, well last week I was like, I wasn't motivated. I could have done my coding updates on the website better. Think people are going to notice that I was off with that. I didn't get this right. I like look at everything and I overanalyze in a way. And I feel like a lot of people, the opposite of me, they're underanalyzing obviously, and they don't really care. And I think that when you point it out though, the offense level to it, that automatically you're like, okay, so am I too critical? Am I over like stepping my own boundaries of like pushing myself too hard to like motivate myself, fix it, do it like on the spot? And then there's just, I think, the happy medium, but I don't see a lot of the happy medium. I see a lot of extremes in our generation.
Do you critique yourself a lot?
Oh my God, yeah, I'm very critical of myself.
So
I get myself very worked up too. Like I can't sleep at night.
like like what you just said, like perfect example. If for some reason I plan on waking up early, working out, shower, change, whatever. Then I want to do a couple things for work, and then I want to check this, whatever, third task and fourth task, and then get to the office by 8:30. Like that's like the perfect morning. Then what happens is I sleep in later than I want. I wake up instead of 5 o'clock. I wake up at 7:30. I don't work out. I don't do the other thing. I do something else. I waste time doing something. Next thing I know, I roll into the office at 9:15, and I think in my head, I'm like, I just literally wasted that whole morning.
And then it bothers you all day. That's me.
But what I do, and again, I'm kind of, it's a good attribute. It bothers me. But then literally in my head, I'm like, I can't change it. Like you screwed up. I say screwed up, but like you didn't maximize the morning. You made some bad decisions. Not like, I mean, literally just
like make up for it.
Yeah. So then I literally in my head, I'm like, okay, it's 9:15.
Yeah.
Just have a better day from 9:15 to what time you go to bed. And I kind of, and again, but it's the analysis part of like, I'm analyzing my morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was honestly, that was a D- morning. It was terrible. Yes. But now all of a sudden we're going to start working for that A+ rest of the day. And I try to shift myself that fast, like literally that fast, to the point where I could have had a bad 2 hours in the morning. I'm like, I just wasted so much time. I did this and messed this up. I had to restart this. I, got off track here. And I'm like, you know what? It's 11 o'clock. I have the next 11 to 12:30. I'm just going to go boom, 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 and just cram out a bunch of work.
Yeah.
So
Except then at the end, if I do that though, at the end of the day, I'm like crashing. I'm like, oh my God. Like I feel like I threw my whole day off. You know what I mean? Like I like to have my routine. I like to get up, get my coffee, and just crank it out in the morning. So when my morning is screwed up, it's like the rest of the day is.
It throws you off, but it's kind of, and I use the analogy, if you're working out and you're eating right, I hate dieting. I don't like the word diet, but like if you're in a portion where you're really watching what you eat and being nutritionally good, and you decide one night you're going to have a big crappy dinner with the dessert and then whatever, and it's just like, oh, that was a bad decision. I shouldn't have ate that. The amount of people that say I shouldn't have ate that and beat themselves up, my thought is, okay, well, that's fine. Tomorrow's a new day. Just start and eat better. Like you had one little moment where you went off track. It's not the end of the world. You can't fix it. You did it. Like just live with it and just say, okay, well, guess what? My next meal, I'll just get back on track. And like, I always look at if I miss a day of working.
Always happens.
We're life. It's human. Like we're human. It's life. It's like if you miss a day where again you want to work out and it's like I went 3 days out working out. Well, guess what? Just work out tomorrow. And guess what? You're back into it. Just don't beat yourself up because I really don't focus on. I look in the past and it says like I said, looking at people that were successful till now. I like studying what they do to kind of give me some knowledge or maybe some guidance going forward. But I don't beat myself up. And then what I do is I don't dwell in the past because I don't want to change the past ever because it's gotten me to where I am today, which is fine, which is great. I have a great life, a family and everything. So, but then I look at, I can't change the past. So if something bad happened or I said something wrong or I did something wrong or I didn't do something, I can't go back and change it. So then it's like, what do I have? I have full control going forward, which is like my psychology in real estate is if some deal goes south, my thought is, okay, like, hey, this didn't work out. This is what we're doing next. And then they're like, wait, but this is so bad. The deal fell apart. I'm like, I know it did, but I can't change it. So I'm not going to dwell on it. And people always want to, that's one of the hard things I have is now people want to complain and well, why is it this way and that way? And I'm like, I agree. It sucks.
Or like correcting wrong. You know what I mean? Like
or
it's a very basic thing.
Or being like, well, I wish they didn't do this or didn't do that. I'm like, I 100% agree. It would have made my life easier too, but it didn't. So guess what? Here we're now like, here's our next action plan to make it go forward. And I'm very much like that, where if things are going wrong, it's like, okay, what's the solution? Okay, it's almost like going down a path. Like, oh, damn, we're going through a maze. End of the road, turn back. Okay, what's the next path? What's the next path? And eventually, instead of sitting there and complaining that you hit a wall, hurry up and go find the next breakthrough, and then eventually get to the other side. And that's kind of my thought process. You can just kind of put your head down and just like trudge through and eventually get there. Obviously, you want to try to take the path of least resistance. That's never going to happen. There's always going to be negatives. So you just kind of like, how can you overcome that and go like, boop, 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 and get back on track?
Yeah.
Very.
It's not I don't think it's a common way for a lot of people, and it kind of bugs me. Maybe it's because I'm obnoxiously positive when I walk into, like, I can be negative, but like if I go to like work or something, like when I go to the sales meetings, they make fun of me because I walk in the door and I'm like, all right, here's my list, let's go. And they're all like,
do you find by being positive that you have less negative in your life that comes with it? Because a lot of it is perspective.
Yes, because I also would categorize myself as I'm positive about work and stuff, but like I'm also like tired by the end of the day. And when I get tired, my negativity shines through. But it's almost like I'm that person that just needs to sleep it off. And once I sleep it off the next day, usually I'm like, okay, totally fine, let's go again.
Well, you can get tired. Like you can get like there's some days at the end of the day
where it's like you feel defeated. That's kind of where I am, where that's when my negativity comes out. I don't think I'm negative, and actually I don't think I'm negative at all, because I started from the position that I started in 6 years ago. No experience, nothing. I now have like people contacting me about positions, jobs, ideas, marketing plans, like wanting advice. But like the thing is, I don't think they would do that to me if they thought that I was a negative person who couldn't like handle the changing and shifting. I think professionally, I handle it very well. But do you know what's funny? I don't think I handle changes and the off track in my personal life, as well as I do professionally. Professionally, I'm like a textbook, like it's through and through awesome, and then personal wise, I'm like totally different the way I lead. Yeah, which is strange, because normally you'd think you would be that way with everything, but like I'm very different in terms of how I control my positivity with professionalism and my positivity with like personal life.
Yeah, I think positive, because it's the perception that you have of everything that you do.
Yep.
And I think just by focusing on the good and being positive, I find that I attract way more positivity and less negativity. I attract positive people. And one of the things that I've gotten very good at is the last couple of years I've really like come out of my shell, because I was like, you know what? Like when I first got into real estate again, I was 20. I was this little kid. I was like stiff, meaning I was scared to say something or overstep my boundaries or act, goofy or not, whatever, because it's like I just thought I was in a professional adult setting. I had to be like this stiff, just very straight laced, like tight collar kind of guy. And then I finally got like 5 years ago, I'm like, I'm going to do a couple videos. And I'm like, I like videos better when I can be kind of fun and make mistakes and joke. And then
personable. I mean,
and like actually have
you don't want to be the robot.
And like have a personality. And so when I do like this is great, because I feel like I'm talking to a friend and I have a personality. I don't have to be stiff and be talking like I like being outgoing. The benefit of that is my clients are way easier to deal with now than they've ever been, because a lot of them have seen me on video and talking and hearing me, so they know my personality and the way I my goods, my bads, all that. But for whatever reason, it's fine with them. So then I come and work with them, and it's usually less barrier of trust, meaning they already trust me. I can work with them. They're very similar to me. We have fun. We can joke around. We can goof around, and everything's good. And like I went like when I go to like a listing appointment with people think it's like, oh, we're listing appointment. We're like, and I go in and I'm like joking around. I'm like, let's have some fun. Like I'm here to help you sell your house.
It doesn't
it's definitely
have to be like blah.
Yeah, it's definitely serious. I take my job extremely seriously and extremely serious in the sense that you're making a big decision. There's a lot of money involved. Might be your what's called retirement or moving up and like there's a lot of things involved for especially real estate because you're talking thousands of dollars, not a couple dollars. So I take that very serious, but at the same time, we don't have to be stiff. Like I can go to a listing appointment.
You want it to still be a good experience.
Yeah,
I think that's like another thing.
Well, I like walked in the other day, lady I've never met before, went in, and I go in. I'm like, I kind of stepped in the house, a nice house. I'm like, I'm gonna take my shoes off. She goes, don't worry, keep your shoes on, keep your shoes on. And my response was, no, I want you to see my cool socks. Like I literally, I had pretty cool socks on that day. So like. But like you can have some fun with people where like I never would have said I've been like hi like not Mrs. I'd be like hi so and so and then be like okay show me your house like too timid like you got to go in have a like be loose
and it makes them feel more comfortable too.
Yeah, because all of a sudden this guy comes in he's like energetic like oh, okay and then they get energetic then they get excited about the deal and then that's a lot of clients when I can get them excited because real estate is like I think is fun. It's something that if people put too much stress into it can be stressful for them. I try to be more lighthearted. Like it's definitely a big thing. We're not downplaying the importance, but we don't have to overplay by being too stiff. Like let's have some fun. Let's be. I'll do a great job for you, but I want you to have fun in the process because it should be fun. Whether you're buying or selling, and that's something I think I've brought to the table real well over the last few years. And what's cool is again, everybody that's ever worked here, I've never actively like went out and got. Yeah, I've like. You were probably like one of the only people that I've ever said like I really hope like you could like there's a couple people but it's not like I'm seriously like recruiting anybody. It's more of like I would love for you to do something at some point. Every agent that's worked here has come to me first. All the jobs we literally just put the jobs out and those people have come and it was cool as I know a lot of people that are applying for positions here. So it's kind of I don't call it recruiting because I don't recruit anybody. Like I don't recruit agents. I don't recruit. It's like I call it attracting. Hopefully we do a good enough job and people catch the vibe and they want to be
way to describe
it. Yeah, they don't want to be I don't want to recruit anybody here. I want them to be attracted to come here and they want to come here because they found something either with me or the company or the people that work here.
And they're interested.
They're like what you guys is doing is fun or interesting or you seem like you have a good time or you seem like you're lighthearted. Like when Nick started, she came in and like we were just kind of hanging out. I'm like this pretty low key and she's like it's like I'm like like I want to have a fun vibe. Like I don't want to have a very stiff like punch the clock here leave here like get your work done. Just get your work done, do a good job, have fun. And I don't care if you're here for 7 hours or 10 hours. Like just like I don't know how much you're gonna work every day, but we probably should get going. I didn't realize what time it was, but we're rolling right now, rolling deep.
Yeah, we had a good one.
6:30. Oh good. We gotta go. Okay, anything else, Anna?
No, I think we did good.
Say your website again of your blog.
It's annahewitt.co. So like you do, we spell that ANNAHEWITT.CO.
How many of these episodes have you listened to?
I listened to almost all of them.
You know
who was one of my favorite ones? Guys who comes on. I think it's because I like his Instagram too. Philip Page.
Philip's a baller.
I just find him fascinating.
I literally just did you see his new episode on TV?
I've seen him post about it, but I haven't seen it myself.
So they posted the first one.
But like he has a dream garden. He is like a hustler. And
if I go out to visit him, which I want to at some point, I'll let you know. Maybe you can carpool out.
My God, I don't know why. I just find him fascinating. Even like his conversations, like I just listen to him and I'm like, he fascinates me.
He is a legit agent, and he's only been doing it like 3 years. He's incredible. He came onto this once, but he's one where like if he's coming in the area, I'm like Phil, just tell me when.
But he engages with you and everything online, and I like his Instagram stories.
Super guy.
That's also what I'm thinking about.
Super guy. Also, like you said, he's very, very, very personal with people. Like in the sense of like, I can't say enough good things. He'll probably listen to this. Phil, if you're listening to this, shout out. We love you. All right, so that's it. Episode 72. Anna Hewitt. AnnaHewitt.co, formerly known as L Bell.
No, get rid of the L Bell. It's gone. L Bell is dead.
Your photo, what we're going to post on Instagram, will be you holding your L Bell mug.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Come on. We got to do that because that just adds to. Have you ever held that for the story?
No.
Maybe we'll have you hold that, and then I got a shamrock you can hold up there too.
Perfect.
Or your bowl. Maybe your Christmas ornament. That'd be nice. Christmas in June.
Closing with it.
Actually, guess what? 6 months from today?
What?
Christmas.
Oh my God, that's kind of crazy.
Fun fact, yesterday was my half birthday. Today's my son's half birthday.
Well, happy half birthday.
Thank you. So about 6 months from now, I'll be ordering a charcuterie board. All right, check her
Beautiful.
out. AnnaHewitt.co. We're out. Thanks for listening to the Gaelan Trombley Show. If you want to reach me, you can go on Facebook at Gaelan Trombley, on Instagram at Gaelan Trombley, and on YouTube at Gaelan Trombley. The spelling, GaelanTrombley.